Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here, coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to be here with you guys tonight. So good to be back with you talking about true crime because we had a lot to get into earlier. Lots of true crime updates and also, some of the things that we've kind of uncovered in our last live stream and things of that nature. So, we did cover earlier a story about little Javea Harris, and she was reported missing on June 30th, 2026, and she was reported missing by her mother. And it turns out that little Javea's remains were found where her mother said they would be found to law enforcement during their stellar and very well done investigation. So, hello, little Miss Sharon. So good to see you. Hey, little Miss Sharon. And thank you so much for hitting the like button. And Susie, thank you so much for being here. Susie, this is so heartwarming. And thank you so much for this comment. She says, hey, everyone. I hope everyone is doing great. Sebastian is the first main case I got on, and I will not stop praying or having faith of his return to Seth. Thank you, Susie. And Susie says, I dearly care a lot about Seth and Sebastian and never met either of them. Susie, you know, I feel that just because I have a lot of care for little Javea, who I've never met, and I've never met Sebastian. And I do feel that. And I think that's what's so great about us humans having a high emotional intelligence, some of us. Some of us a high emotional intelligence because we do bond with people that we've never met before, right? We can look at a picture and feel connected to that person, or we can find out that they have the same favorite color as us, or maybe they share a birthday with us, or maybe the same zodiac sign, something like that, right? And we have this connection, not because we know them or because we've met them. It's because we're all human and because we have care, compassion, and love for each other. That is lacking here in this world, and it's everywhere. You cannot escape the utter disregard for human life, human living, right? People just live and let live kind of a thing. We don't see that very often. It's few and far between. This world has a lot of hate. It holds a lot of hate and perpetuates it. So I appreciate you very, very much and your support. And thank you, little Miss Sharon, as well. And hey, Gail, good to see you. Gail says hello to Lady Freedom mods in chat, and she says we are Sebastian's and Devlin's army. And Gail, I am working on a video for Devlin as well because we haven't got any more updates, right? Besides the year anniversary, it was nice to have Tamara up on the panel, right? But we haven't talked about Devlin in a little while, and I want to reach out and let them know that we will be. I did see a picture of Tamara on Facebook, and it looked like she was having a nice time with a friend or a family member. I'm sorry if I get that wrong, but it does look like she was at least enjoying herself, and as much as you can, right? Because, um, unfortunately, life does go on. Um, and Susie says, you're very welcome, little Miss Sharon. I've been following Sebastian's case from day one, and I'm glad to be here. Oh, I'm glad you're here too, Susie. Thank you. Hey, Bo, good to see you. And Lori is here. Hey, Lori. And Libra, good to see you, Libra. And hello, Shauna. And thank you so much, Shauna, for having people hit that like on the way in. You guys could share the video. That would be awesome. We have some really great topics to talk about tonight, and I did post in the war room. So if you guys are in the war room and you want to go check out what we're going to be working on next, because unfortunately we had a dummykins that messed some things up for us, but that's okay. If they did do any damage, we have some more ammunition, so you can stay where you are or go back to the hole you came from, and we're going to continue to march on. So and my PTSD. Thank you for being here. I got your video. I got your video and I uploaded it. So just so you know. And Gabby is here. Hey, Gabby. So good to see you. And Detroit Rock City is in the house. Hey, Detroit Rock City. So good to see you. Aloha, JH. So good to see you guys. Hey, Shadow. So good to see everybody coming in. Welcome in, everyone. Hey, Valley Gal. Hello, hello. And I also have a great video today that I want to show you guys. I dropped it earlier, like around 9:30 tonight. Um, so definitely like and share that one. Hype that one up. We want to get that one everywhere. I think it's so cool that we have people boots on the ground, who are placing signs where signs should be for Sebastian, right? We still need the awareness in that area. We cannot let them forget. I want every single police officer to know who Sebastian is, and I want every single police officer out there to have to drive past those signs so they can know that they still have a missing child. It might be election time, but there's still a missing child in your county, and you need to find that missing child. You must find Sebastian Rogers. Hello, Witchy Mama. And also, we have Cinderella is here. Hey, Cinderella. And Kylie's Nail Candy is here. Hey, Kylie's Nail Candy. And Sharon Marlowe. Thanks for being here, Sharon Marlowe. It's a good one. It's a good comparison. Hey, Jenny Machete. Good to see you. I saw a picture of Sebastian today. Shadow says, one I have seen many times before, but it hit me hard today. After hearing about Javea, I was like, what the hell happened to you, Sebastian? I'm just emotional today. I'm with you, Shadow. It's hard. It's hard because it's these little kids, right? And it's not fair at all. Like, it's absolutely revolting to be, completely honest. It's revolting. The what we learned today, I was it was kind of eye opening to see the property, because then you could understand that it was probably a very low probability that any good outcome would come, like no miracle probably was going to happen after we saw the burn barrel and saw all that stuff. Like that was solidifying what maybe law enforcement was trying to tell us, to begin with and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, it's really tough. And then with Sebastian, I feel like sometimes it's a needle in a haystack situation where, because of what was going on at the time of his disappearance, um, Sebastian could be anywhere. Katie said that she wanted the PI to look on the dark web. Katie said and mentioned trafficking a couple of different times. Katie also said that Sebastian could be in a basement. That's what Katie said. What Chris Proudfoot said was that Sebastian could be coming home when he's 18. Chris Proudfoot said that Sebastian would need extensive help and therapy and counseling when he came back. Chris Proudfoot said that Sebastian could be dead in the woods. That is what those people told us. Is that a confession? I don't know. Does law enforcement take it seriously? I don't think they are. Because if they were taking it seriously, the same thing would have been happening as soon as it was said. And yes, I just beat my computer. I probably shouldn't do that, but I twice. You know? Why was that not taken seriously on day 50 when Katie told the private investigator, Heather Cohen, that Sebastian could be in a basement somewhere? Why did law enforcement not do a damn thing? They didn't do a damn thing. Not one single thing about it. They're letting them walk. Shout out to Gina. Exactly. Exactly, Valley Gal. Exactly. And that's why we got to continue to do this. Gabby. Gabby says, I forbid computer. I forbid computer abuse. I forgot it wasn't my table. I did it with my opposite hand. It's just, it's the same thing when Chris Proudfoot, talking about Seth Rogers, said that if he opens his mouth, he won't ever open his mouth again. Law enforcement didn't take that seriously. They haven't taken Sebastian's case seriously at all. They have not. And the thing is that I wish I was making this up. I wish I was one of those lying ass channels out there that like to put out a bunch of defamatory crap information with zero receipts, but I can show you every single receipt for this. Every single receipt for this is on my channel. Katie Proudfoot, that was her words, not mine. Chris Proudfoot said it on not my channel, but another channel. So it's not only on my channel, but it's on their channel too. In a recorded phone conversation, said that Sebastian, when he was asked, what do you think happened to poor little Sebastian? Well, he's going to come home when he's 18 and he's going to have a bunch of problems. He's going to have so many problems. He's going to need therapy. That's one of two things that could be. And the other one, he nonchalantly said that he's dead in the woods. Why was Chris Proudfoot not hauled down to the police station when that was said? Because I would like to think that if a retired police, whatever, I don't know who he actually was, but an officer got a statement like that, that shit should have been at the FBI, and I trust that it was. Okay, that's all I can do. Because I don't know for sure. That should have been at the FBI. That should have been at the TBI. That should have been at local law enforcement. That should have been on the 5 o'clock fucking news. But it's not. Because it's forget about Sebastian. Well, this is what Sebastian's army has to say about that. Let me just get this keyed up here. All right, hold on one second. Let me grab this in. But this is what we're dealing with in Sebastian Rogers' case, where we have a bunch of people, politicians, who are running unopposed, yet it's they're making it a point in their business to promote themselves and not look for Sebastian. Unfreaking believable. All right.
Did you forget it was my heart you were playing with? You made the rules to your own game. So your heart of ice, so I brought fire to learn it all.
right, guys. So I'm just going to go back here just a little bit because I'll read these for the ones who are watching, or excuse me, listening in on a podcast style. So we have, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why my computer is getting smacked around tonight so bad. Is Mayor Isbell, right? We know him. He's the Munchkin King, right? He came up there. He's like, we don't want everybody searching for Sebastian, right? He was at the press conferences where they told us nothing, where Eric Craddock acted like a cocky little fuck that he is. And I'm going to play that too tonight for you guys so we can have a reminder of what a cocky little shit that guy was compared to the wonderful, beautiful angel of an officer that took care of Gervais' case. Because there's no excuse for what we're seeing here. No excuse at all. Hello, Brad. Not a damn one. And you know, it's like disgusting. It really, there's no words for it. Hey, Jilly, you know, there's no word for this besides corruption, besides this stinks to high heaven. So, Isbell for Sumner, honored to support Eric Craddock, Sumner County Sheriff, an outstanding leader. I don't think so. No, you guys are not who anybody wants to look for their missing child. Period. Point blank. A friend, of course, they're friends. They're a part of Duck Dynasty. They enjoy fine whiskey and big events like this where they're rustically themed and everything looks gorgeous. Like it's just all set up and it's just, you know, politicking. But why is he doing it if he doesn't have to worry about anybody vote? Nobody's running against him. He doesn't have to worry about votes because votes don't matter when you're just appointed to be sheriff. And that's not how it's supposed to go. That is not how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to be elected in. Why don't they put like Peter Pan on the ballot and see what happens? I just want to see how many people would rather have Peter Pan than this fucking asshole. Seriously. Because what is he doing besides holding his hand out and grifting like most of the people on this platform? Even though it's worse because he's supposed to be the sheriff and he's the one to protect and serve, right? Right. And guess who pays for him to do that? The fine people of Sumner County. That's who. Public servant, far from it. When you had the public outside your door, you sat there and hid like the little bitch that you are. You did nothing, not a damn thing to serve the public. And as a matter of fact, we're the ones that offered you cake, if I'm not mistaken. Let me think about it. Yeah, that's right. That is 100% correct. So what's up, Craddock? Because you're not doing shit as a public servant. You're not doing shit as a leader. I'm sure the friend part is probably accurate because y'all are so corrupt. One hand washes the other. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. Oh, it's Groundhog Day. What have you done for me lately? With your shit-eating grin on your face. And you too, you little creepy-ass munchkin. Grateful for his continued dedication to keeping Sumner County safe and strong. Bullshit. And here he is up here talking for him. Re-elect Eric Craddock for sheriff. Re-elect him? He wasn't elected the first time. Kind of hard to re-elect somebody that wasn't elected to begin with. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. What? Nuh-uh. Kylie, hello, Kylie. Kylie says, OMG, Duck Dynasty comes out over the spirit box all the time. Oh my God. Well, Kylie, I was saying last night, I'm like, I don't think I believe in those, but I'll tell you, if they said, if I could hear it say Duck Dynasty, I would be creeped out a little bit. I can't lie. I'd be like, get out of my brain. Um, I'm sorry, Lori. I'm sorry. I just had some time to think about the way that everything was handled. And then I was like so fired up when I saw this. And I appreciate it, right? I appreciate it because this is what we have to do to feed off of each other, right? To motivate each other to keep going, because this can be so disheartening and disappointing and deflating, right? Because here we are, we want to find Sebastian and they're not doing anything. And as a matter of fact, they're making a joke of it. It's like a mockery to them. Like they shouldn't be proud of themselves. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be they shouldn't be proud of themselves. They should be ashamed somehow. I mean, so he's honored to support Eric Craddock, this little guy, right? Mr. Munchkin King. He is from Wizard of Oz. There's a theme with, these horrible actors in Sebastian's case. You got the flying monkey socks, you got the mayor of Munchkin Land. It just all goes back. Now, who's behind the curtain? You know, so an outstanding leader, friend, and public servant. Again, he's touting this, right? And I think, oh, I'm sorry, this is the same post, just a different picture. My bad. I just want to make sure I read everything for you guys. And moving right along, they got balloons. I mean, they got the patriotic red, white, and blue. How patriotic is it to leave a child out there missing, especially when his parents say that he could be dead in the woods, or, excuse me, his mother and his stepfoot. His father still thinks he's alive, and his father is still actively looking for him, and his father is trying to find him. And his father does public pleas for him. And his father is trying to get the police to do their job. Excuse me, let me back that up. But when you have his mother, who was the last one to see him, saying that maybe he was human trafficked, or maybe he's in the basement, and check the dark web, and you're just letting her go and do nothing about it? Are you that afraid of her lawyers? She must have some really good lawyers. She must have a really great defense team set up that you guys are that scared, especially because she made you look like a fool. You're the ones that look stupid, because none of us believe her. You do, apparently. Sebastian's army is out there, and we are Sebastian strong. Now, this is ridiculous right here. This is fucking ridiculous. You got everybody and their mama trying to get, the greatest spot, the first one, right? Because, the cars are driving by and you want them to see him. But instead, we got Sebastian right out front. Right out front. Why don't they have any type? And I'm not talking about Commissioner Don Smith. He tried to come out and he tried to get people rallied together for Sebastian. My hat goes off to him. It takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of guts, and it takes a lot of care to go out there and do the right thing, even though, you're going to piss some people off. And why would you piss off a sheriff by putting out a flyer of awareness for a 17-year-old kid who's missing? I don't know. Went missing when he's 15. I put the sign up today for Sebastian. It's so sad that 2.5 years and not a word. At Marsha Blackburn. Marsha Blackburn, where you at? Marsha Blackburn, is it time for elections? Is it time for us to vote? Are you the only one on the ballot too, or are there others? Do you have any opponents, or is it just like you're going to get, shit handed to you on a silver platter? How does that work exactly, Marsha? Because you have some work to do. I'll campaign for you, Marsha. Why don't you do something for Sebastian? Can you help in any way, please? Because it's crickets around here. It is. It is crickets. It's every single day. We wait. We wait. And then all of a sudden, we're shown this little girl who everybody came together for. And I'm not saying that people didn't come together for Sebastian. Sebastian got a lot of exposure. Sebastian had a lot of people that were out there for him. I'm not saying that at all. And I appreciate all of that, every single bit of it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. Even Crabtree, like I'm just saying, right? He was out there with the drone and on his boat and stuff, right? So everybody that did something, it was great. But now it's crickets. Now it's crickets. And now is when we need to keep applying the pressure. Look, we set the stage for you guys. We set the entire stage. Um, Bullhorn Betty. Sorry, don't let me forget Bullhorn Betty because she's the one that put that on for us. Hey, no ifs. Hey, Cinderella. And hello, KJ Mack. What did Valley Gale say? Let's see. I'm going on and on, so I'll make sure I check the chat. Please note basements are few and far between in Tennessee. So where is he, Big K? So that was my thought as well, Valley Gal, because many of the houses that you look for just on market houses in the area are crawl space. Every house in that neighborhood was a crawl space. And I wonder how many listings that were active at that time. I would have loved to have been a real estate agent who had access to their MLS at that time. So I could have gone through and just printed off all of Kathy's active listings. Yeah, that's you, Maddie Kathy Bauer Socks. Cruella DeVille. You're not that scary. I mean, your face is. So anyway, what's up with that? Because I'd like to know which ones had basements, if any. Because if we have odds like that, that narrows the shit down a lot now, doesn't it? So, I mean, that's a big start. I know Illinois has a lot of basements. Lori, hey Lori, Illinois has a lot of basements, don't we? We have a lot of basements in Illinois, don't we, Lori? I wonder if Lori has a basement. A little Miss Sharon. I wonder how busy Lori's basement was around the time. I wonder how busy Lori's basement is now. Because here's the thing, guys, they could have put Sebastian somewhere and had someone holding him and then moved him to a different place. That's why when we do shit, we got to be strategic about it. You get a lead, you tell Seth about it so he can get it to the FBI and obviously 911 is the first thing, but I mean, that's another thing that people need to consider that. He's got a PI, you got to get it to the FBI. I mean, we need to get Scranton. We need to all throw in on a massive yard sign to set up right in front of there so nobody can see their signs. No, I'm just kidding. But that would be awesome. I don't remember seeing like any billboards in the area, but I think it would be cool to put a big sign up near the sheriff's office. Near the sheriff's office where they have to drive past it every single day. Hedge Seth also lives in Sumner County, so do many more. Yeah, so that's what's crazy because I saw him when they awarded Sumner County. When did they award Sumner County? Was it 2025? I think it was 2025. Hello, Ann Reynolds. Good to see you. So, and I hope Albert is doing well. Ava, I don't know her, but Ava says that Marcia is worthless, and I'll change my mind if she does do something to help Sebastian. Right? I think that would make me like her a lot. You know what I mean? She'd be my best friend. I'd be like, hey, Marcia's all right in my book, right? Um, but if she's not willing to help, and it's campaign time, I think people should consider that unless she's one of those ones that just gets it. I've never heard of such crazy shit except for like I said, the dailies comes to mind in Chicago, right? The dailies, because they just got the position, and then when one of them would serve their time, so the new one would come, right? Or they get reelected a billion times over the same corrupt bullshit over and over and over. So I don't have a problem talking about where I grew up around the area that I grew up, because guess what? I can be real with the situation. But when you want to put your head in the sand and act like the corruption's not happening, I mean, how are you going to be proud of a place that you live when you can't even be real about it? Right? You got to call that shit out. Ava says the older homes in Tennessee usually have a basement. And a basement could be anything, like even like a storm shelter. Even like I heard that allegedly Chris's sister's husband likes to build those, you know? Oh, Riley Gaines does too. I mean, we got to get people's awareness up. Well, good. Oh, that's so awesome, Miss Ann. I'm so glad to hear that. That's fantastic news. Well, Candace now needs to get her ass on it too, because I watched her annihilate the theories of Stephen Avery. So, come on over, girlfriend. We can use you. I'd be fine with it. I mean, that's the thing. That's the fact of the matter. We need to continue on with this. We need to put the pressure on. Yeah, Taylor, what's your opinion? Exactly. Taylor's opinion is that she's a newlywed. That's Taylor's opinion, I think. Sorry, guys, I need to put some lotion on. I don't know if you guys heard me snapping my cap to the lotion. Um, yeah, unbelievable. I don't know what it's going to take to get, especially the politicians. Like I get, that's the crazy thing about Nashville is it's like star studded, right? And then there's other celebrities that live around the area too. And like Libra was saying that last night. I'm willing to big sign. I know Scranton, so Scranton's always down. she, says, she says I'm willing to big sign like the ones that the football players run through before a game. See, that is what I was picturing in my head, was like a great big one. You know what I mean? Um, I mean, I would think it should be at the forefront, especially when there's so much support for Sebastian. And even at that event when it was time to honk for Sebastian, people were out there honking and everything. And so I think that people absolutely do enjoy seeing progress in a missing child's case, especially in Sebastian's case, because there's a lot of people that support him and support him being found and think that Chris and Katie are absolutely responsible, or at the very least Katie. Yet we have people who are afraid to come forward. And the reason why they're afraid to come forward is because of the high level of corruption. And because when someone in Sumner County comes forward, their house ends up getting shot up, right? There's a drive-by all of a sudden, like Sean Taylor. And he was one of the police officers. Let that sink in for a hot minute. My PTSD says, what size are we wanting to do? I mean, I'm thinking just something where they can see it, and it's the biggest thing first that they see, bigger than these signs. Marsha Blackburn springed for the bigger, she's got the big sign right here, big red. I mean, that it's bigger than this one. We'll be able to see them in a second here. Let me show you guys this one representing Sebastian. This is Long Hollow Pike, right? Fact of the matter is all these people are probably running unopposed. Evans, Stewart, Holt, Blackburn. You've been had by Sebastian's army. Oh, and this is Eric Craddock. Now this is a while back. He got started early, and so were those Facebook posts of him and the Munchkin King, right? And they were starting it off first and early, and he was making sure to get his big ass. I mean, that's a big ass sign that he's got right there. Of course, it's a close up shot. The sun shining through it. What a fucking asshole. I'll stick that where the sun doesn't shine for you, sir. So it says, thank you to everyone who has been graciously allowed a campaign sign to be placed on your property. So he's obviously calling people and door knocking or having somebody do it. Your support is sincerely appreciated. Yeah, whatever. And he says, it's an absolute honor to serve the citizens of Sumner County, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to continue serving the county that I'm proud to call home. Well, you are running unopposed. I can't say it enough. So you already know that you're going to continue, asshole. You already know you're going to continue. Nobody's running against you. Hey, Holly. So what the hell? Hey, Jen. I'm doing well today, but it's just been a long day with these cases. This poor little girl. Marsha won't answer questions on anything, in my opinion. I don't understand why she wouldn't. I don't understand why she wouldn't work to do something like that. That would be a whole ass miracle. That there would be so many people that would be absolutely thrilled with her if she did something for Sebastian. And they talk about serving Sumner County. Well, people in Sumner County want Sebastian found. I know they do. That's not even, a thing, in my opinion. It's this for some reason corrupted government that is deciding that they don't want to do anything. And then I also heard Lieber talking about Hip Gallatin not even wanting to share anything having to do with Sebastian. So why is that? I mean, what does Hip Gallatin need to advertise more than a missing child in their own community? Why can't you place the flyer up of the $50,000 reward that is active through the FBI? I know it sucks when your heroes are bunk, right, Valley Gal? It just sucks. I've heard mixed things, but I don't really know her. But I have heard mixed things about Marsha. Um, so yeah, you gotta like. I mean, I just don't understand during election time why they're not. I just don't understand that at all. Thank you, Holly. So, and thank you so much, little Miss Sharon. Jeez Louise. Just crazy. So we're on a streak. We're on a streak, says my PTSD. We got the fourth night. Well, gosh, it's just been so hard listening to all of this. Um, it's just so sad because Sebastian's case could have been so much further along had they utilized the information they had. That's what's crazy. Um, so let's watch a little bit more of this. And I just put in some screenshots here. Um, do you believe the Darvo disappearing act? And when I say that because I think that because we didn't believe this crazy story that Chris and Katie had given us, and we found all the holes in it, and it's like then they were going from panel to panel, just misrepresenting the situation, adding new details to their story, getting very upset, also confessing to abusing Sebastian. Um, I mean, because that upset us, that's when Chris started denying everything, right? And during that and after, attacking everyone. We heard them the other night in their first TV interview. They attacked the public. You don't know, and we don't ever want you to know. What the hell is that? You know? And then they reverse the victim and offender role. You know? They reverse that role. They're the offenders, but they're playing the victim. I do not believe the Darvo disappearing act. Not at all. And they played the cops for a fool, right? Like they played the cops. They played Ken Widener from emergency management because he was talking about on day 5 going over to the Proudfoot's house. I'm heading over there right now, right after I do this news briefing with you. I'm heading over. I'm gonna go hang out with the parents, he says. It's like, what? Hey, Poppy Love, good to see you. Well, hey, Casey. Casey says, hey, all. I know I'm not in here often. I'm just catching up to your live. I'm not an agent, but I have a good friend who is, and I am happy to see if she will pull up Kathy's listings from 24. Ooh, Casey. Wow, Casey, that would be fantastic. Yeah, because I mean, it's a worth a check for, and I'll get those straight. Like I won't even, we won't even show them. We'll get them straight to Seth to check them out. Um, so wow, that would be great. That way we can, that's the thing. Let's start marking stuff off the list, and we need to listen to what they were saying. We need to listen to what they have said, like the important stuff. Yeah, it's kind of fun to tease Chris. I mean, I can't even say it's kind of fun. It's fucking hilarious. Okay. I love teasing Chris about the pervy stuff because he kept doing it. If he would have only done it once, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But then every time you see him, he's like pervy, 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 and I'm like, you're disgusting. Why? Like you're. Every time I see you, you're worse. But anyway, we need to get down to the nitty gritty and what they have said and listen to what they've told us because there might be some truth in it. You know. Um. Did the police cover up? Because if it was me, I'm pissed off for them. So I'm like, I can't believe you guys would do that to the police, right? I mean, and that's coming from me because I'm always roasting police officers, but then I'm not when they do good. So I praise them when they do good, then I roast them if they don't, right? But in the same way, it's like I'm mad for them because I'm like, you know, they're just trying to find Sebastian. They come onto the crime scene and they're thinking they're dealing with a missing child. And we saw that in Javea's case, right? Mom calls 911 and she says, my daughter's missing. I can't find her, right? Same thing with Katie, but Katie was muted and Chris called for her. She was on a 3-way call with him, but they still reported Sebastian as missing. So with that, it's hard to believe that Chris and Katie are telling the truth because there's so many similarities. And I'm not saying that what Javea endured is what Sebastian endured. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a lot of the same elements. And I think that if we examine some of what they're saying in the story, they even have it to where one of them wasn't home and the other one was. right? Allegedly, he was off buying all kinds of different items, gas, he's doing laundry, he's getting Black and Milds, he's getting Mad Dog 2020s, he's getting snacks, like snacks are involved, right? Cookies and candy. But why would the police allow for this? Because what happened with Javea is the police went to the house, right? And they started looking around the area and they were canvassing the area and they had everybody out there looking and looking and looking. But they were also gathering evidence in those couple of days. And later on in the evening, after they false reported their daughter missing, the two of them ended up having a second child be born at the hospital. So we found out that Javea's biological dad was over at the hospital with the mother because they had just had a new baby. So that gave the police all the time in the world to continue to search, but then to continue to dig and to continue their investigation. Do you think that they only operated off of one assumption? If you think that they only operated off of one assumption, then put a one in the chat. But if you believe that they were investigating everything, every detail as a whole, then put a two in the chat. Because I think that those police officers in Aiken County, South Carolina, and the agencies that were assisting them were definitely looking at every angle they could to try to bring Javea home. They weren't just operating off of one assumption because that's what a numbnuts would do. And these police officers are anything but that. They are trained, they follow proper procedures and protocols, you know? So Paige Darvo is basically where a person like Chris or Katie, when they're in the wrong, they will decide that they will deny that they ever did whatever we're trying to hold them accountable for, that they will attack us for even bringing it up or trying to hold them accountable for whatever it is they've done. And then they reverse the roles. They become the victim and they make us feel like the offender. It is a psychological mind F that has been um, discovered. I guess we can call it discovered, but it's just um, basically something that a psychiatrist has come up with to describe those behaviors and how that plays out because it's so textbook that it just plays out like the exact same way every single time. But thank you for asking too, Paige. We did a good live on Darvo actually, too. It's a long one, but it was pretty good. Um, oh, thank you, Casey, for becoming a new member. Well, welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Woo woo, awesome. And Casey, we have a Discord too. So if you would like to join our Discord, just send me an email. Um, so that way I could get you the link for it too. So, and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. That is so cool. I'm so excited. And of course, email me too about the other details because I'm interested. And you guys are putting twos. I see your twos in the chat. Sorry, I was too busy gabbing over here. But yeah, I mean, I think that they were doing everything. Good night, Miss Anne. I think that they were doing everything that they could do at the same time because what the outcome essentially was. So like Thursday, we know that Will Rio from oh gosh, I'm going to say it the wrong way. WDRD. I think that's what it is. Shit. Anyway, News Channel 12. News Channel 12 who is our favorite that we've been covering and now I can't think of their actual acronym. Um said that he had a face-to-face interview scheduled for 3 o'clock at the hospital, right, with Javea's bio dad. And turns out he called him and he was in the parking lot. And obviously, they're up there in the room because they just had the baby. And he answers the phone and hangs up on Will Rio from the news station. And that was the last time Will Rio spoke to him. And he was the one that got the exclusive interview. So, we know that sometime after that, they were probably taken into custody, So go shorty. It's your birthday. But yeah, so, ah, that's so great. Yes, it's Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives at gmail.com, just the channel name. If you go to my channel, you can click the link from there too. So, and I'll make sure, because I have my email up right now too. I have a couple of emails I have to get back to as well after my live here. So, yay, Casey, I'm so glad to have you. Brother Guinea Guy builds houses, just wondering if there's a connection there. I mean, I've always, when I heard Kathy was a realtor, I was like, oh shit. Because we have like, I mean, there's vacant properties that you just have a lockbox access to. Um, I know our MLS for all the lockboxes were iPhone activated. So you literally had to have an iPhone to get into those. But everybody did, right? So, um, that's how the digital lock boxes were being utilized then. And that was, oh gosh, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years ago since I've shown property. So, yeah, I mean, you could even have access to build outbuildings and barns and sheds and things because you're showing the property, right? So say somebody is looking at a 5 acre property, like maybe like a little hobby farm and whatnot. I don't know what you guys have as your minimums for your acreage, but just say that they're looking for, for hypothetically speaking, a 5 acre little hobby farm property, and you're showing that property, and they have, a barn on the property, say they have the house, but then they have the barn, they have cellars, they have this, they have that. You're showing the buyer everything. They want to see everything. And some buyers that are savvy, oh god, they want to see it all. They're like, let me see how we could lift up this or that, and you're like, oh god. But yeah, they're wanting to get in there and see all these things. So you're going to have access to a lot of different spaces on the property as well. And that's what's scary. I mean, too, because they could have taken Sebastian there, had him hiding for a little bit. Nobody's the wiser because they're too stupid operating off of one assumption, in my opinion. Or they just didn't care, So would make sense for them to keep it in the family and within their inner circle. I mean, I think that they do that. And that's because of what Nina said, you know. That's because of what Nina said. Nina told us that, and I do believe her. I think her story is believable all around. Because there were times where she was like, "Yeah, I smacked the crap out of Chris Proudfoot," you know what I mean? And like, I mean, she wasn't mincing words, you know what I mean? She was being real. Um, so I don't know if they covered up. I don't know. This is Katie at the 2 year mark. She was wearing the same Sebastian shirt, brand spanking new. She's looking off into the distance, very creepy. Katie is one of the creepiest ones. She really is. Okay. So now, last seen with his mother, Katie Proudfoot, February 25th, 2024, approximately 6:30 p.m., leaving the Texas Roadhouse. Right? And these are some pictures from their interaction. Katie grabbed 2 rolls from the basket and she's buttering the rolls. Now, Sebastian goes to grab a roll, and you can see that Katie has said something to him, and he looks at her. He looks up at her because he would really like to grab one of those rolls, right? He looks excited. He looks like he wants to grab a roll and have another complimentary. She's not paying extra for these. This isn't a single mother that is, you know, hurting for cash, who is just trying to go out for a nice little gathering together with her son, doesn't have enough money to buy any more rolls. No. This horrible, in my opinion, excuse for a mom tells Sebastian that he cannot have a roll. And that is Sebastian pulling his hand back. He didn't even get to touch the roll. Didn't even get to touch it. Katie was saying, Sebastian, come home. You're not in trouble. He got in trouble for trying to grab another roll off the table. This is a video that I did, a thumbnail for a video that I did about Sumner County and about Millersville and about the corruption there, the TBI corruption that we were warned about. And here's another live that we did about Bledsoe Youth Academy. So with Bledsoe Youth Academy, we're going to get into some of that tonight, because we were talking last night about some affiliations that we found with Goochland. And I also have a breaking news update in the Provo Canyon school that Paris Hilton went to. And I know I touched on that briefly. But just overnight, they successfully got them shut down for a little while. They came under new ownership. And I want to read you the article that we read last night. It has the most information. And also for the War Room people, I've put that in there so we can build out some timeline stuff and, build some connections from that. Give me a second here. And let me just keep playing this through, because I don't think there's anything else to read.
What do you think it means when these memories come as the winds turn colder? Do you think of me now the flames turn cold and the fight is over? What do you think it means when these memories come as the winds turn colder? Do you think of me?
Oh, I did want to play the video of Eric Craddock too and his bad attitude, but this is one of his faces. Excuse me, that he had, and it wasn't because of his disgust that Sebastian Rogers was missing. Oh, no. It wasn't his disgust about Sebastian Rogers being missing. It's about the fact that he thought that he was doing the best job that he could possibly ever do. And if his kids were missing, he would want himself looking. Disgusting. Sumner County. And here is the clown sheriff. Honk, honk. Honk, honk. Fucking bozo.
Maybe you'll find the body, maybe you won't. But don't sit around and wait for Santa Claus to come. You got to solve this case.
Do you think of me?
Yeah, and you got to solve this case. You can't wait for Santa Claus to come, right? Yeah, go find Sebastian. What are you waiting for? And that is from Dee Warner's case. The saddest part is that they knew that Dee Warner had passed away. So they were on a recovery mission. We are not on a recovery mission for Sebastian. Just wanted to point that out. But I love that statement. Don't wait for Santa Claus to come. Solve the case. What are you waiting for? Why are your thumbs up your asses and the other hand is out for a fucking raise? unbelievable. It needs to stop. It needs to absolutely stop. Okay, so let me see. Oh, I also okay, so we got a lot of all right, let me see here. Is this not a live link? Well, for all right, so I'll bring Misty's video in after I can get a live link. Misty, you might have to send that to me in Discord. Um okay. Let me see here if I can find it. Oh, that's right. Okay. That's why, because I did not send it to myself yet. Let me share this. And of course, I'm going to have to probably um, stop through it. You know what I mean? And for fair use, because I didn't turn it into a video. But this one's going to be about Paris Hilton and the Provo stuff. But I will find Eric Craddock while we look for that. This one's just handier, dandier. So hold on. And let me get that to myself. All right. And then I'll find Craddock talking about how he's wanting if it was his kid, he would want these people on this, Widener, Duck Dynasty, the mayor, all of them, Susan Island. He would want a rookie detective, which is bullshit. We all know that. We all know that he wouldn't want a rookie detective. Nobody would. That goes without saying. That's like saying you want somebody fresh out of medical school. Let me do this. All right. So this is breaking news from Paris Hilton's camp, and she's been fighting for justice from these schools for a very long time. For a very, very long time, Paris has been. And this is actually from 22 hours ago. So this is just breaking news with Provo, which is so weird because we brought that up last night. And that whole thing last night was so weird. So not weird in a bad way, actually weird in a good way. So let's get Paris up here. Come on up, Miss Hilton. And I'm really proud to see Paris Hilton in this form that she is in, because for the longest time, hey Jilly, she was definitely, the poster child for, like, Lord help me, but I'm just gonna say it, a dumb blonde. You know what I mean? Like, that's hot, and oh my god, and this craziness, right? Very immature and everything, but she was going through a lot. She went through a lot, and I appreciate her coming out and talking about this now, and the way that she articulates herself. You would be so shocked, right?
It's truly horrific what happens behind closed doors at Provo Canyon School.
The girls' campus of the residential youth facility Paris Hilton was sent to as a rebellious teenager, ordered to shut down.
When we spoke.
All right, guys. So Paris Hilton, my friend sent me her story, and I'm like, oh my god, no, you don't understand. I already know. I already know her whole story. So Paris Hilton was being a very rambunctious kid, right? Had a lot of money, was partying her ass off, with all the little socialites, right? Like Nicole Richie and all of these kids, right? But her folks were scared because they were like, oh my gosh, and it wasn't too long ago. I mean, it seems like it, and maybe it was, but like River Phoenix, right? He didn't make it. He was in that party club kid scene, and he lost his life. I mean, super handsome guy. And it's just so sad. It's so sad. Because these kids have all of this money at their disposal, and They're staying out all night, most of them, and some of them, they're running their parents because they're the ones that are making all the money, and their parents are basically, not. So, thank you, Witchy. And so, with that, her parents were like, we're going to send you away, right? Because you're not listening, you're sneaking out, you're running away, you're being a bad kid, right? She was an actual troubled kid. I don't want to say she was a juvenile delinquent, but she was absolutely not doing what her parents were asking her to. And they were afraid, right? They were afraid that she may OD. They were afraid that she was partying too much. She wasn't coming home until all hours of the night. They were afraid she wasn't ever going to make anything of herself, the whole nine. Hello, crafting with sassy chicks. Hello. And so, there was reasons why. And when I did my research on different schools and different camps and different behavioral therapies, like, sending the kids to the woods, right? Well, a lot of these kids were in that position, right? They were smoking cigarettes, they were smoking Mary Jane, that wacky tobacco. And then they were doing things like calling their moms names. They were hitting their mom. They were bowing up to their mom. Some of the boys were like bowing up to their mom and getting, like that with their parents. And there were some really legitimate concerns. And many times these parents were doing this so that way the children would come back to them eventually and things would be better and they wouldn't be so oppositional and and that sort of thing. One of the episodes was like a wilderness camp that I watched of the show. And many of the kids had facial piercings and things like that. And they were making them take them all out. Hey, Jules, good to see you. And they went so far as to like the kids that didn't want to take out their piercings, they busted out the pliers and they're like, we'll take them out for you. You know what I mean? And some of them did require that because some of those piercings are very much in there, right? I had a tongue piercing, but I was old enough to have one. Like I did it after I was 18. And I had, belly button piercing. I had a couple of piercings. I've had a couple of piercings. I have no tattoos, but I just thought to myself, like, I could just see if I was real stubborn to just close my mouth and be like, you can't make me open my mouth. The guy comes in with the pliers, but anyway, the point of this is that there was good intentions behind it, and the intention was always for the child to come back, the reformed, right, somehow. And in these schools will tout that to the parents, and they'll say, oh, we have this kind of track record, and we're going to take them out in the wilderness, and they're going to come back a whole completely different kid. Well, yeah, they would if they were taken out into the woods and something horrible happened to them, they were assaulted out there. Of course, it's going to change them for the rest of their life, and I would just invite parents to make sure that before they make the decision like this, that they look into this. And I also would like parents to go and check out this link. This is a link to warehouses of neglect, how the taxpayers funding systematic abuse in the youth residential treatment facilities. And I want you guys to look at this. And I want you guys, to go over the links and everything, because we will on the show. But if you're planning on sending your children to one of these places, the acronym for them is an RTF, where it's government funded, but it's also owned by private entities that exploit children and use them only for the purposes of money, because the amount of children that they have in these beds is money in their pocket. If they don't have kids, then they lose funding, or they don't get as much funding. Very, very important. If you're thinking about putting your child here because they have a behavioral disorder, or you think that they need behavioral help.
To you in the past, you said that it was a living nightmare. Do you feel like this is allowing you to wake up from that nightmare?
Definitely. This is something that's haunted me since I was a teenager, where I would have severe nightmares, and it just...
All right. So she said this has haunted her since she was a teenager. She would have severe nightmares. That is called PTSD, panic disorder, right? Anxiety disorder. Probably a lot of those things come with that, right? Um, it's really crazy, Holly, because it shows that it affects all of these demographics of people, right? It's not just poor people, it's not just middle class people, it's not just rich people, you know? It's all of these different people who some of their parents have the best of intentions, right? They do. I can't speak to anybody's intentions in this in the situation with Sebastian Rogers. I can't. Maybe Seth's, because I can attest to what I've seen with Seth. But the big difference, the big difference that we see is that Chris and Katie had a referral from CPS, DCS is what they're called, excuse me, in Tennessee, for Sebastian to go to Bledsoe Youth Academy. But Seth said no. I don't want him going there. He did research. There was research out about Bledsoe. We've gone over it on the channel. And so if DCS thought it was best for them to do that, and they did it, and they closed the fourth CPS report anyway, but then a fifth one opens up that is still open and active and ongoing, then who's to say that they did not put Sebastian into a school somewhere? All right. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as we go.
Felt so real. Ever since I've been doing this work, those nightmares have went away.
Okay, so she says that the work that she's doing now is cathartic, and it's helped her so much that she doesn't have nightmares anymore because she feels like she's doing something about what has happened to her. She is no longer a victim. She is a survivor. She's a fucking warrior. She's out there doing what she needs to do to not only make herself feel better, but to help. Because there's nothing worse than knowing that there's this massive problem and feeling like there's nothing that you can do about it and that you're helpless. It's the same thing with my fight against domestic violence. It's the same thing with the fight against child abuse, that our campaign that we've been running for Javea. But that's the same campaign that we're running for Sebastian Rogers, because we know that he was abused too, guys. We know he was abused. There's not 4 different open and closed CPS reports from fall of 2022 to the present, when they have that one more right before Sebastian went missing, and that was at the end of January, early February, right before Sebastian went missing. That thing is still open, you know? See, and her going out there saying, I'm a survivor and I'm fighting for you. That's why she doesn't have the nightmares anymore. That's why it's healing her too, is because she doesn't feel like she's, allowing for this to happen. It's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling. Trust. It was definitely not a reality show, and she was essayed and mentally and verbally abused there. Yes, Detroit, yes. Her parents ignored her pleas to come home. Yes, they did. They did. And they often do. And then sometimes the kids will write letters to the parents and they'll not send them. Sometimes they'll get them in trouble for writing down their feelings and writing down what's happening to them. And they will put them in a position where the parents can't come visit them. There are horror stories upon horror stories about these facilities, and the federal government knows about it, and the federal government is investigating some of them. It's crazy. I can't believe it's legal either, and they're funded by mental health. They're funded by tax dollars. State monies are allocated to these places to do just that. It's absolutely crazy. Hey, Coffee Crime and Cats. Good to see you. So, yeah, thank you, Holly, for dropping Paris Hilton's link as well. Yeah, it's amazing. She's a fucking warrior. I'm telling you, this girl. And I used to just be like, oh, why is she so, she always says, that's hot. That's hot. But I mean, now she's standing up. She is standing up and she's got star power,
Canyon School claims to treat troubled teens, but Paris says she faced unspeakable abuse there.
Do you feel vindicated? Do you feel heard by this decision?
I definitely feel heard, and so do all the survivors. To hear this news is incredibly healing.
The order to close comes out.
Oh yeah, and that's part of it, right? Because now you're going to sleep a lot easier knowing that they're not going to be able to hurt anybody else. It's like a survivor's guilt.
After years of lawsuits by families and mounting pressure from survivors who say they've been inspired by Paris.
I truly think that this place is beyond saving. Provo Canyon School is not safe for children.
Ooh, she said, I don't think this place is worth saving. Provo Canyon School is not a place for children. Not a place at all. Thank you. Thanks, Coffee Crime and Cats. I will. I'm sorry. It's like I've been talking so much today, so I'm going to be jumbling words. I know it. I know. I'm surprised they don't go mad. Like, some of these places are absolute psychological warfare that they use on these kids. I mean, it is like, it's beyond. It's crazy. And they brainwash the shit out of them too. Like, I've watched ones where they convinced the parents that when the child came there that they failed a drug test. And yeah, like, they were in trouble. Then their parents were mad as hell at them. And then they were being mistreated there so badly, and their parents weren't listening to them. I mean, can you imagine what a mind F that is? I mean, you're just screaming and crying for help and no one cares.
They've made that very clear.
Just this week, the Utah Department of Health revoking Provo Canyon School's license to its Springville campus.
All right, they
citing multiple alleged.
They took their license from one of the campuses, right? So, of course, look, guys, and this is who always has their hands in it and is giving money to these facilities. Department of Health and Human Services. Okay, that's Stacy Grubber, Commissioner. Tracy Grubber, Commissioner Stacy Bank, MD, Executive Medical Director. We got Tanya Hales, which is the Deputy Commissioner, David Litvak, who is the Deputy Commissioner, and another Deputy Commissioner Nate Winters. State of Utah, Spencer J. Cox. Let's see, Deirdre Henderson, Lieutenant Governor. So these are the governor and lieutenant governor. Now, this is July 6th of 2026. Attention to Marshall, Ann Bowen, and Trisha Martinez. Notice of agency action, revocation of a license for UHS of Provo Canyon DBA Springville Campus 52-93697. Okay. It says, Dear provider, this letter serves as a notice that the Utah Department of Health and Human Services Office of Licensing Department is revoking the license of UHS of Provo Canyon DBA Springville Campus. The provider, this I did that again. This revocation is effective July 6th, 2026, right? So that was 4 days ago. By August 6th, 2026, all services must be terminated and any new enrollments are prohibited, according to Utah admin. And that is the code R380-600-8, parentheses 9. I don't know what those codes are, but there they are for you in case you want to do some research. This is an important document. This is showing that one of their campuses has been taken out. Now, I want to do some more research into Provo Canyon. So as we do that and we focus on that, that's what we're working on in the war room. And also, I would invite you guys to do that too. It is a charge to go into the war room, right? But I had to do that to keep people serious about it. But if you would like to help anyway, just email me, right? But we also have to keep things um, to the team effort, right? Like we have to keep it strategic because we just don't know who we're dealing with or what we're dealing with on these. To be just completely honest, I mean, we're getting to know it though, aren't we? All right, here we go.
Springville campus, citing multiple alleged compliance issues from recent years dating back to 2025, including failure to protect clients from harm and for engaging in an unnecessary.
Okay, sorry guys. I'm going to read all of it because they're only reading some of it. So, on July 6, 2026, the provider was cited for noncompliance with R380-80-5 for failing to maintain the health and safety of a client. Horrible. Then again, on July 6th, the provider was cited for noncompliance with R380-61C for failing to ensure that each client has the right to be free from potential harm or acts of violence. Wow. So that means that somebody was hurt and they didn't protect them. Interesting. Then also on July 6th, the provider was cited for noncompliance with R3080-80-61B. So both for failing to ensure that the client has the right to be treated with dignity and respect. Wow. So they're not treating children with dignity nor respect. They're not treating children with dignity and respect. Why would they allow for that? So they're allowing them to be dirty and unsafe. They are allowing them to be harmed, and they are allowing them no dignity or respect. On July 6, 2026, the provider was cited for noncompliance of Utah Code 26B 2 123 1AIX for engaging in an unnecessary restraint, aggressive physical contact with a client. Guys, we just talked about this at length last night. And Seth was nice enough to come on the panel. We talked about this at length last night. These are the same issues we're seeing: safety, health, mental health, assaults, SA, and this wrongful restraining, using restraint techniques that are not approved. I mean, sadly, some of them are.
Necessary restraint and aggressive physical contact with a client. These recent incidents allegedly occurred decades after Hilton's time.
All right, so it was decades after her time there. On July 6th, the provider was cited for noncompliance with R380-80-61D for failing to ensure each client has the right to be free from discrimination. They're discriminating against children? Discriminating against children. Wow.
There.
When you hear the details, what goes through your mind?
Well, I lived it, so I know exactly what they're talking about, and the things that they're saying here are not even a tenth of what is actually happening behind closed doors. Children.
Oh, did you hear what Paris just said? I lived it, so I know exactly what they're talking about. And what we're seeing here, that's nothing compared to what really goes on. That is nothing compared to what really goes on. Detroit says she was a daddy's girl and her mother was so jealous of her. And I believe she was the mastermind behind getting Paris taken away, allegedly, in my opinion. Yeah, they came in. That reminds me. Sorry, Detroit, I got a little sidetracked. They came in and took her out of her bed in the middle of the night with nothing, just took her as she was and brought her to the school. And that's how they do these kids. As a matter of fact, there are liaisons that will come in and take your child for come in and steal them in the middle of the night for you and take them off someplace else and take them away to wherever you ask them to. They'll come grab them and bring them where they need to go. And that's where we start thinking about Sebastian's case and the lights. Because in my opinion, Chris and Katie concocted a plan, and I think this is a very, very solid theory, to put Sebastian in one of these schools. I could be wrong, but I don't know. It's looking like it might be a good option. And I would urge the FBI to look into this. I really would. I would urge them to, Bo. I would urge them to do that, because that is the only way. That is the only way that we can be sure. The poor girl had to recreate her life, and her mother knew what she was going through, and she let it happen. She is an abusive person who took her over everything, and also was very abusive to her dad. Yeah, that's so terrible, Detroit. I'm telling you, it's awful what she had to go through. I mean, and to the best of my knowledge, she even forgave her mom. Paris, that is.
And are literally sent to be healed, and instead they're being more traumatized than from when they walked in.
While the school now has new ownership since Paris's time there, she says not much has changed.
As I've spoken.
Okay, so she's saying not much has changed. I believe that. And the way that she is speaking on this is that she said that they would take children in to be, quote, healed, but they would come back traumatized. And that is probably one of the most profound statements. I know there's one more coming up.
Spoken with families and children who have been in the facility as recent as 2 weeks ago, and things have gotten even worse there.
In a statement to ABC News, a representative for Provo Canyon Schools saying in part,
Okay, hold on. We're going to read exactly what they have to say. This is their rebuttal to the allegations that are being waged against them. And what we know is the norm. We know that here at this channel because we've talked about it before, that we know that this isn't out of the realm of possibility, nor is it something that is super rare. It is the norm. It is par for the course with these places. So either way, they write, we disagree with the state's decision to revoke the Springville campus license and are evaluating all available legal and administrative options, including an appeal. As this is an ongoing matter, we are limited in what we can say at this time. Always the same thing. Okay, so respecting privacy laws, Provo Canyon Schools cannot comment about any resident's condition, stay, or care. Over the past 25 years, thousands of residents have successfully completed treatment at Provo Canyon School. This has had a profound and lasting impact on these individuals, overcoming challenges with mental illness and enabling them with a foundation for success in life. I'm sure you guys have tons of testimonials. We're not talking about that. What we're talking about is the girls and the kids that had negative experiences, and that is an understatement. How are you taking a child in for healing and traumatizing them further? That is sick. They say our priority remains providing safe, high quality care and support for adolescents and families. And we remain committed to serving those in need. And this is a Provo Canyon rep that read this.
Provo Canyon Schools saying in part, we disagree with the state's decision to revoke the Springville campus license and are evaluating all available legal and administrative options, including an appeal. As this is an ongoing matter, we are limited in what we can say at this time, adding, our priority remains providing safe, high-quality care and support for adolescents and their families, and we remain committed to serving those in need. I first sat down with Paris more than 3 years ago at her Beverly Hills home to talk about her experiences at a slew of controversial boarding schools, including Provo Canyon.
Okay, guys, and yeah, she has been through it. And, she has done a bunch of interviews. I want to say she's been fighting this fight for like 3 or 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's heartbreaking, I think she's going to help so many people, Holly. Her star power is what really gets her, going. Because everybody knows her, I mean, I think that it's very possible, Bo. I think that it's a high probability. Detroit says some of the kids are blindfolded and put into restraints and were terrorized during the trip to the school. They had no idea where they were and had no communication to the outside world. Detroit, if you have Netflix, or any of you guys have Netflix, you guys need to go watch the program. It's a 3-part series on a school that did just that very same thing. And it's called The Program, right? Where they literally tried to reprogram the kids. And they made it seem like to the parents that they were helping the kids, but they weren't. No education, filthy conditions, made to sit in a room, made to do all of these horrible, repetitive behaviors. But yeah, this is exactly the norm when it comes to these RTF schools, residential treatment facilities, that they are sending children to. And it's horrible. Thank you so much, my PTSD, because I'm going to play that too. I want you guys to see this statement, these two statements side by side. So it's heartbreaking, Lori. It's so heartbreaking, You did watch it, Bo, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's, I hate to say it's really good, but I mean, basically this girl went back to the school that her dad sent her to and pulled up all of this information. And they even found the drug test that exonerated that little girl, because they kept telling everybody that she failed it and she actually passed it. And they I mean, it's sick. It's a mind fuck is what it is. It's psychological warfare. And I hate that. I can't stand that. Gaslighting BS.
People are profiting off the abuse of children. This is not right. It's so wrong.
In what
People are actually profiting off of children. And it's not right. It's so wrong. That's Paris Hilton. That is Paris Hilton. So let me go and grab this out of the war room for you guys. Let me see. Because this is the one. Yeah, I want to visit. Okay. This is the one that tells us about how this shit works. And I've told you guys how it works when it comes to, Youth Opportunities Investments. We knew about that company, but check it. This is how it works. This is two groups that tried to escape a psychiatric facility in Virginia. Hallmark Youth Psychiatric Facility. Hallmark Youth, and we're not going to read through all of this. We already did that last night, but I do want to read some of this. So, the TV station has been investigating Hallmark Youth Care, the largest short-term residential treatment program in Virginia, with 82 inpatient beds for young people with behavioral and mental health needs since the fall of 2025. The facility is owned by Acute Behavioral Health, a Nashville-based company that was formed with an initial investment from two private equity firms, Petra Capital Partners and Harbet Credit Solutions, in partnership with Elm Creek Partners and Granite Growth Health Partners. Okay. So these people are essentially, and within this, you're going to find the link to the Senate Finance Committee report. Right. That's how we tracked this down, because Seth had come in and told us about the kids escaping, and it was 8 girls and then 5 boys, and they're escaping all the time from this place. You know, it's sick. And they're escaping because they're being abused. You know? So I get great pleasure sending one specific adult to that place. Yeah, really, exactly. The adults in Sebastian's case need to go in there, in my opinion. See how they like it, you know? So there's that. And I wanted to point that out because, you know, the federal government is very used to this, right? There's violations, not adhering to protocol when it comes to safety, SA, physical A, all of it, mental, emotional. And yes, they are all owned by these private equity firms, but the problem with that is that they're just simply making money off of the children, and also they're getting money from the state. And that's the same thing with Bledsoe Youth Academy and Youth Opportunities Investments, and the fact that they're getting money from Tennessee Mental Health. They're getting given money annually to run and to make money off of these kids. Okay, so let's go back to Paris. All right, Miss Hilton, here we go.
What ways do you now feel like you own your story, and why is it so important for you to tell it?
I feel like I own my story because I've lived this very full life and have been through hell and back. That's what I'm most proud of.
Well, and you should be very proud of yourself for coming forward, and it's because it's not easy. They sent them all back. They sent them back there. Hey, Christmas Swan. They did, Detroit. Yes, they did. It is sick. It is sickening, and they sent them all back there. They didn't do anything. If anything, they get a slap on the wrist, and then they have to take classes. You know, they have to take classes. So they didn't do jack about any of it, you know. But yes, it takes a lot to come forward, and it takes a lot to come forward in a position that she is in, where she is so well known in the public eye.
Paris Hilton was the classic teenage rebel, staying out late at raves, kicked out of multiple high schools. So her parents sent her to a series of boarding schools for troubled youth.
Right, here we go. And, she was out partying late and doing things. Look, that's what kids do, especially a kid like her. And especially if you send your kids to a school where there's all these celebrity kids, they're going to have a little bit different rules than everybody else, in my opinion. It's going to be a little bit of a different situation altogether. So,
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
And what does it entail?
Thousands of schools, wilderness camps. And these schools, a lot of them have no oversight or regulations.
okay, like the wilderness camps, guys. And that's exactly where I was watching the different kids being sent to these different locations. And one of them was a wilderness camp. And like I said, that guy was about to come at the kids with the pliers if they didn't take out their piercings. And that was earrings, everything, you know. This is unreal. And they treat these kids like numbers and they have no say. I know, and can't defend themselves, like you're nothing but shit on the bottom of a shoe. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, they don't care. You know, it's it's absolutely sickening, and we think about the way that institutions were run back in the day, and it's absolutely disgusting that they're still doing it. They're just kind of putting a bow on the situation. The facility might look nice, but what's going on within the facility is shit. It is complete shit, you know?
So people don't even know what's happening.
It was there that she says she suffered shocking abuse.
The people who work at these places were just evil.
People who work at these places were just evil. They were evil. They were horrible to her. She's like, you can see she's reliving it in her brain. You watch it and see that she's being genuine.
And it was terrifying, and going through emotional, physical, psychological, sexual abuse.
She says
I think she named off all of them. And this isn't something that is an isolated incident. It is something that we see. I just showed you the article. It's something that's in a federal report. And she's worked very hard to get laws changed as well. Very, very hard. And she's making things happen. Now she took one of these licenses away from this Provo Canyon school in Utah.
the most traumatic was Provo Canyon School in Utah.
What type of abuse do you remember from Provo?
Throwing us against walls, strangling, hitting. Late at night, they would take certain girls into a room and do cervical exams with.
Ew. Oh my God, that's horrible. It's just horrible, horrible, horrible. I have to stop this for fair use, or I would absolutely let her continue speaking. And I'm not trying to be rude at all, but what is it with like the Utah thing? Because there are a lot of schools in Utah that are just like this, and it's kind of like where it all started. And I don't want to say one thing or another, but a lot of these techniques and things remind me of like LDS and the just cult like, very cult like, very creepy. And that's the Utah vibe, in my opinion. I've never been there, but like watching these stories make me think that thanks Witchy, that there's a Utah vibe of cultish activities. And of course, this is an interview from 2023.
Male and female staff. And it was not like something that was a doctor. Like these were just them doing this late at night to girls.
Right. And like, okay, so she's saying, and we saw that in the paperwork also, we talked about that yesterday. So in these schools, and this is not, I mean, obviously she's speaking specifically on Provo Canyon School in Utah, but this is something that was going on in Virginia like this, not this exact instance, but the fact that they were performing medical uh, exams on children and not having a actual doctor doing that. You know, Warren Jeffs. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, Shadow. And like a lot of these places in these schools will do a lot of those tactics. You know what I mean? Like not completely cult like tactics, but the reprogramming, the brainwashing, like all of that stuff is it's so weird. Um so yeah, it's it's very interesting. It's very interesting because that's why I get that vibe. And then there's when I was doing the research, there was a lot of Utahs um that were in the mix, you know, and then also there were some options that Chris and Katie were given by Seth when he was working with one of the advocates or liaisons for finding a school for Sebastian in the meantime, because Chris and Katie did not want Sebastian living with them anymore. And so they came to Seth and he, you know, about Bledsoe, and he came back with some more schools that were more suited for what Sebastian would need. Um, so there was a list of I think it was 4 schools that were on that list. So it was too expensive for the parents, and that's everybody collectively. And so they decided against it. And that's another reason why I wonder, especially if CPS had to come back to the house after they closed the 4th CPS and report, and that was the goal, you know, at that time, was to move Sebastian to a school. I just don't know that it's that far fetched. And like I said, when we hear things like this, it makes it more believable.
Did that happen to you?
Yes.
Invasive searches and stuff.
Yes. I think
Oh my God, poor Paris.
that was just another way for them to have that power over us. And also, I think that a lot of them enjoyed it.
You said they would.
Well, of course they did. There were creeps, and I'm so sorry that that happened to you. Of course they enjoyed it. They get off on the power and the control that they're dominating another person, a little kid. They're disgusting Chester cheetahs. They deserve to be put in a wood chipper. Yes, yes, I said that. Right? Just chip chip chop, chip chap, and you're done, right?
Watch you showering.
Yes, male and female staff would watch the girls shower.
Yeah, that's disgusting. Okay, so I want to show you guys this little complex here. You know what we got, what we really got looking at, because when you see it from the street view, like we saw earlier, we only saw this little bit, right? We saw this little circle drive, and we saw this little bit. Look at this mother trucker. This is a huge facility. Now, I want to show you guys the so-called facility. Is it on my other one? I think I could just go to it from oh yeah, here it is. Gooch. Here's Gooch. All right, Goochland, Virginia. I want to show you guys this, but I think it's gonna do an ad. Hold on. No, I don't want to sign in the Yahoo News. I do not want Yahoo News. All right, give me 1 second. Get back. All right. Here we go. And oh, I got an ad. Okay. So I got a couple of seconds between the ads. So just keep this in your mind's eye for when we pull this up, because this is going to show us what the other school looks like. Okay, good. I got enough time to pull it over. 5 boys. Here we go. All right. So I got that. Okay. And let me go like this. Oh, sorry. No, I didn't want that. I don't want to listen to their music. I don't know if they're using copyrighted or what. All right. So, okay, we're almost done.
Say 2 kids are missing after escaping the Hallmark Youth Care Facility. Thanks for joining us for the CBS 6 News at noon. I'm Caroline Colburn. Police say that around 10 o'clock last night, Hallmark staff reported 5 boys had left the facility.
Okay, hold on. Let me just go back here.
Hallmark 10 o'clock last night.
All right, so this is that facility that those kids went missing from in Virginia. It's a whole ass facility and complex, right? And it's nuts. It's like there's tons and tons of room at these places. They make them as big as possible so they can pack the kids in there, in my opinion. Yes, David Miscavige. Yes, of Scientology is a psychological abuse. Yes. Oh, he's got people abuser. He's got people yeah, absolutely duped with that Scientology craziness, in my opinion. So many put a blind eye to all of it, this kind of evil stuff going on. Yeah. Well, and a lot of people don't know what to do because, I mean, obviously, look at the size of these facilities. Like, how are we going to take these on, right? The government knows about them. The government is funding them. Unfreaking believable. So, with that in mind, and we watched this last night again, guys, I just wanted to pull in a visual for us as well. So just bear with me now while I grab this other one and pop back up with Paris Hilton, because here's the Provo Canyon School right here.
Paris says at one point she was placed in solitary confinement. Paris sharing this photo on Instagram, showing her just after leaving those schools when she turned 18, writing, "I can see the pain in my eyes. I was so traumatized that I pretended every..."
Hold on, guys. I'm going to read that because she has more to say in that. So this is Paris when she got out of the school. She says, these photos were taken when I was 18 and had recently came home from the horrible experiences I went through at #Provo Canyon School. I can see the pain in my eyes. I was so traumatized that I pretended everything was okay, trying to block out the painful memories. Looking at this now, I know that the teen me would be so incredibly proud of the woman I am today. Being brave and using my voice to make a difference and save children from having to endure abuse myself and so many others have had to go through. #CU Survivor, #Breaking Code Silence. Right? Millions of views, millions of people touched by that message.
18, writing, "I can see the pain in my eyes. I was so traumatized that I pretended everything was okay, trying to block out the painful memories." She says her parents first sent her to those schools because of what she now knows was undiagnosed ADHD.
Just back then, no one was really talking about ADHD, and no matter how hard I would try in school, I could not focus. I was constantly getting in trouble, and it was just really difficult. That breaks my heart that so many kids are getting punished just because their brains work differently.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking, and that brings me to a big issue that we have gone over again, just breaking news developments in the investigation into DCS in Tennessee. They are looking into the fact that DCS is being accused of treating people who have disabilities like autism spectrum disorder even cerebral palsy, ADHD, to name a few, are being treated as a behavioral problem or that they have behavioral disorders when really they have disabilities. And that's being investigated and looked into. And it needs to be. There is no reason that children should be punished, as Paris is saying, because their brains work differently. It's very important that we keep all of this at the forefront when we're thinking about searching for Sebastian. Jen says Ron L. Hubbard used to write science fiction books first back in the 60s. Fact, I used to read them. I'll tell you, I love sci-fi. And, you know, some of that stuff is interesting. And then also, I'm just like, I don't know. Well, and also, I'm a Christian, so I don't believe in the Scientology stuff. So I can't really do both, right? I mean, with the whole heart. But I do like sci-fi. I love me some sci-fi.
Paris has turned the trauma and pain into action, taking her story all the way to Capitol Hill, where she's...
All right, go Paris, all the way to Capitol Hill. The kids you abuse today will be the ones that will take you down tomorrow. Boom, bitch. That's it. That's it. Because when somebody like Paris Hilton comes forward, there's going to be gobs and gobs of other people that'll come forward.
Been fighting for legislation that would regulate those so-called troubled teen programs.
Imagine if it was your child who was suffering abuse, neglect, or death in the name of treatment. Wouldn't you do everything in your power to protect them?
I certainly would. And I'll tell you, in 2021, and I can see the pain in her statement right there. And it brings up feelings for me of what Detroit was saying earlier for Paris. You know, go Paris is right. I'm so proud of her. I think it's great that she's standing up, and I know it's not easy for her to do that. So this one's from 2021, guys. So maybe it was 6 years ago. Maybe it was during the pandemic that she came forward. I'm trying to think of exactly when she came out to discuss Provo Canyon. She's been working her little tail off on this, though. She has really been doing great.
So far, I've helped pass 16 state laws and 2 federal bills to protect children.
What would you...
Oh, wow. She needs to get on Sebastian's law. Hold on. What'd you say?
And 2 federal bills to protect children.
2 federal bills to protect children. Let's see.
So far, I've helped pass 16 state laws.
16 state laws and 2 federal bills. 16 states. She's knocked out 16 states of 50. We got 50 states in the United States.
And 2 federal bills to protect children.
What would you tell that younger self who was going through what you were going through?
Trigger warning.
I would give her a big hug and I would say, Paris, I know that this is the most difficult and painful experience you're ever going to go through, but I promise you it will be worth it because one day you're going to save this from happening to other kids.
Boom. And that's what it's all about. You know, you take so much power back. Oh gosh, it's so freaking liberating. You take so much power back when you stand up against this shit. It's one thing to lay in your bed because you're depressed and you can't get out of bed because it's so debilitating. But when you can get strong enough to do this and you can fight back, oh, let me tell you, it's why I love doing my YouTube channel so much. I mean, there's nothing like it. Holly says it's betrayal from her parents, in my opinion. Yeah. Oh, Holly. Like, you can see it all over her face, you know. I mean, she's caught me even on a very emotional day as it is. And oh my gosh, you know, Miscavige was never supposed to succeed Hubbard. I know that part was kind of strange, right? Like, Cinderella. Good point. Paris for Sumner County Sheriff. Detroit, yay! Right? We need Paris. We need Paris to go over and slap snuggle struggles around. We need Paris Hilton, you know? We do. I don't know how it turned out to be a Scientology thing. I don't know, Jen. I think it's because everybody was talking about like cult activities. I think it was because we brought up cults, is what it is, you know? So, and, a lot of these stories are very interesting. And the thing is like, if we don't know about them, we don't know to consider them, And so I find it all very fascinating.
I can't believe it. Sorry, I'm just like getting emotional just thinking about it. But I'm so, so proud.
Good job, Paris. We love you, and you're doing a great job. And thank you for your advocacy.
Baby kiss. Part of her healing, Paris says, was also returning to making music and finding a partner she could trust.
Aw, look how cute they are. A partner you can trust. That is the hardest thing for someone who has endured prolonged abuse, right? Because you become a shell of a person a lot of times, but you also start to realize that you can trust no one. And especially when the people that are supposed to love you the most betray you, you feel like you can't trust a soul. And why would you? You're setting yourself up to be hurt. And when you can, put yourself out there and be vulnerable and someone else understands that and, you know, handles the situation with care, it's the greatest thing ever. Although it's hard for me to champion something like that because I just don't believe that there's like this knight in shining armor. And I know a lot of you guys have great stories with that, but I just don't think, in my opinion, that it's the norm. I think it's very rare. And I think that the people that have had somebody kind of swoop in and, take care of a situation with you, especially when you're going through a hardcore trauma and a very traumatic situation, whether it's from abuse from a partner or something like this, like say when you're a child or anything, even a grape, when you're older, at any time, really is traumatizing. So any kind of trauma, but I'm hesitant, to jump on that bandwagon, like, oh my God, because this is usually never going to happen for normal people, in my opinion.
Husband Carter Ream, and building a family of their own. The couple have 2 children.
Oh, and look how cute the babies are. Like, look at their little babies. They're so cute, It's like, aw. So, hey, Jen. Her dad was against it and her mother was the enforcer, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, and we do see that. Look, Detroit, I mean, we're talking about a story like that too, where the mother was the enforcer, allegedly. It certainly looks that way. You know what I mean? She has endured a great many things, but I'm so glad to see her doing so well.
Phoenix and London. She says she told
look, Phoenix in London.
Told me how her painful past is shaping her own parenting.
I just know how the world is, so.
Oh my God, I just have to say, and I know this is way off topic, but look at those shoes. Look at those shoes. Okay, just look at the shoes.
The world is, so I'm just going to be extremely protective, extremely supportive, and
and that's the only thing that you can do is break the cycle, right? That is some generational trauma, right? And you don't want to put that onto your children. The Hilton story is one that is very interesting, and the father, you can kind of tell why he would be an enabler or why he would be maybe a go with the flow type of a person, because of his upbringing and the way he came up, and the way that things transpired in the family with him. How does it even happen to get people on board to get involved in an organization like this? I mean, anybody can start a non-for-profit, but when you're Paris Hilton, it's so much easier. You're going to have a lot of backing and a lot of support, so, but these 2 babies are so cute, and she looks like a very good mama.
always there for them for anything.
All right, so back to nasty old Provo.
Provo Canyon School now has until August 6th to terminate all services at their
Oh, to August 6th. So actually, we have a month. We have a month to shut everything down. And they've had their license yanked from them and they need to shut her down. So, TikTok, guys, TikTok.
Springville campus for girls and is prohibited from enrolling any new clients. They can also appeal the state's decision.
All right. So, no doubt they're probably going to, dispute the state's decision. Right. So, that's fine. That's all well and fine and dandy. Because I'm sure that it will get denied, especially with all of this and all of the proof and evidence they have. Um, and, I like this sign here. Will it take a death to shut down Provo Canyon School? Protect kids, not profits. And this is the big key. Protect the kids, not profits. Protect the kids, not profits. Because as I showed you earlier, there are financiers who are footing the bill for this. They are. They are. And little Miss Sharon, thank you so much for gifting a Lady Freedoms Raw Narratives membership. And if you got a membership, please say thank you. It looks like Sunkissed Lamented Slice has got a membership. And I'm so glad that you did. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe. And thank you so much, little Miss Sharon. Woohoo, we got to have a party. So fantastic. I'm so excited. And I'm so excited that Provo Canyon School finally got shut down because it seems like she's been working on this for 6 or 7 years, right? So, whoop, whoop. Provo Canyon shut down. License is gone, right? Fantastic. Great reason to party. Thank you, Witchy. Hey, Crazy Bird. Good to see you. Good to see you, Crazy Bird. My great-grandfather put them in the orphanage until she came back and got them out. Crazy story. Oh. It's very compelling and worth looking into. Hold on. Maybe I missed some stuff, you guys. Sorry. Compelling and worth looking into. My grandmother's mother was on the ship and would travel the world with L. Ron many years ago. She left my she left my grandma and her brother behind. Oh wow, that is interesting. Wow, Detroit. Yeah, see, it's such a small world. Miss Sharon, I appreciate you very, very much. Got the little dancing lady and the kangaroo. All right, so let's look a little bit more of the. Oh, this is okay. We're almost done with this one.
How does it feel like now to get this ruling?
It feels like such a huge accomplishment. I just hope it's a huge message and a wake-up call to these facilities and the staff that work at these places that if you abuse children, I'm going to find out about it and I'm going to shine my huge spotlight on you and you will be held accountable for your actions.
Well, damn. She said, if I find out about you, well, Miss Paris, I have a doozy for you. I have a doozy for you. Very interesting. I wonder what she would think about youth opportunity investments. I wonder what Paris Hilton has to say or what she would think if she found out about the school in Virginia. Okay. Very interesting.
While Paris says she hopes that this is the end of a dark chapter for Provo Canyon, her fight is far from over.
There's hundreds of thousands of children who are in these places who have.
Oh my God, there's all of these places. You know what I'm saying? Bo, go Paris, right? Crazy Bird, go Paris. Go Paris. Oh my goodness. Welcome, Sunkissed. Wow. She said, I'm about to put my spotlight on you. I bet you it's pink. I bet you it's pink. Oh my goodness. I know, Bo. I mean, I wonder what she would think. I have to slide into her DMs or an email. I bet her organization has contact info. Yeah. Maybe we should get a hold of Paris, and we should all do it. We need to all get a hold of her and be like, Paris, we're Sebastian's army. We're here. You want to know? We got some stuff for you to know. We got a place for you to shine that light, girl. Shine it. Let it shine. So the truth is always going to come to light, right? In the dark, you'll always have that spotlight being shown on it. You can't hide from it. It's so good to see celebrities doing something good, isn't it, Holly? I agree. And it's because it is personal for her. I mean, I understand it. I remember when I first saw her come out. Maybe I can find a video of that, and we'll watch it. But I mean, it broke my heart. I was like, oh my God, I had no idea. Like I said, I thought, you know, Paris was just like playing that part, and I'm like, I always knew she was smarter, than she led on to be, like, say, in any of those shows and stuff that they did, The Simple Life and all that. Like, I was into that stuff because, that was my generation, when her and Nicole Richie were out. And I was just amazed by what she was doing and what she was alleging, and how she was handling things, and she's like seeming so serious, and she is dead ass. Like, she is not playing. She's not playing at all.
No one to protect them, so I will not stop fighting for this till every child is safe.
Woo, we got a child named Sebastian Rogers, and no, not chopped hot dogs and hamburger edition. What are you doing? And he's out there missing, and his parents and his mom and stepfoot wanted to put him into a school like this. Paris, what do you think? What do you think, girl? What should we do? She does. Okay, thank you guys. Oh, good. Can I click it from here? No, I can't click it from here. This is Paris's channel. Let's find it. Hold on, let me find it. All right. And she is just so pretty, by the way. I do want to say how pretty she is. That probably goes without saying. Okay, so Paris. Paris Hilton. Miss Hilton is worth $1 trillion, and that's why we know she don't give 0 fucks. Okay. Sorry, I had to say that for some reason. That came in my head. Let's subscribe to Paris. Yay, Paris. Okay. The official story. Okay, this is going to be a YouTube original, so I'm sure I'll get slapped with a cop. They might even come and take us down. We're getting taken down, guys. We don't want to get taken down. That happened one time when I was showing the Elizabeth Smart story. Oh my God, I was like, ah. Okay, so, but, okay. All right. And she was married to some weirdo before. Let's see. Let me look at her house. Okay. All right, let me go to her actual page and see what she's got over here. Let's see. Okay, here's one for Provo. Okay. Oh, October of 2019, this says. Oh gosh, guys. Okay, we're going back even further. All right. So this is in the spirit of fair use and to educate our audience on what has gone on at this Provo Canyon school. And I hope that we get some attention even for playing this, hopefully. And, she'll say it's perfectly all right and I'll help you guys. That's my hope. But this is a video. Paris Hilton shares her survivor story from teen abuse at Provo Canyon School. Okay. And again, guys, I might have to stop it more frequently. It's not that I'm trying to take away from her story. It's that I'm trying to comply with fair use. That's the only reason that I'm going to stop it like more frequently and make a comment than I typically would, because I like to shut my mouth and listen when a victim is speaking. But here we go.
When I first started this film, I honestly don't even recognize that person anymore. Ever since we started shooting this, I've realized a lot more about myself. I'm nervous, I'm shaking. It's hard to even eat because my stomach is just like turning. I don't know, it's something that's very personal and not something I like talking about.
Okay, guys. So she says, like, this is so personal to me and it's not something that I like talking about. And, a lot of us that have gone through traumatic situations, and I do believe that if we live long enough, we will go through a traumatic situation. It's how we handle it, it's how we heal from it, it's how our bodies and our minds process through it. Everybody's different. And one experience for, two people could experience the exact same thing, and one could handle it different than the next person, right? So it's really a unique experience for anyone, and perspective is what we get when we listen to different people's stories.
I have horrible insomnia.
Me too. And I know a lot of survivors have that.
I'm scared to go to bed at night. I always have this recurring nightmare.
Okay, guys. And she's saying that she has these nightmares. She's saying that she's scared to go to bed, but if I was stolen out of my bed in the middle of the night, I would too.
No matter what I do. I'm in bed, and these two people come into my room. And say, do you want this to happen the easy way or the hard way?
Oh my God. So she's laying in her bed. Do you want this to happen the easy way or the hard way? And one thing that has always stuck with me that Seth said about Sebastian's room when he walked in is that Sebastian had a pair of slides that were sitting next to his bed, as if he wore the slides around the house, and then before he got into bed, he kicked the slides off. Right? So that's very interesting.
I'm trying to just run.
Okay, and this is Paris and her mom, right? And you can tell in Paris's voice that it's absolutely terrifying and traumatizing to relive that event. Yeah, I saw Dolly stuff, Detroit. Paris and Dolly Parton should collaborate for these kids. Also, Miley Cyrus's brother, who connected the Lore Lodge about Sebastian. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love how people show that they care by doing things like that. It means the world, and it's so much different than a normal person doing it. They have the star power. So, does anyone remember Chris saying something about might take some convincing Katie into letting Sebastian live with Seth? I swear he said that anyway, which makes this even more likely, in my opinion. I do remember him saying that, Bo. He said that he was talking to Seth about Sebastian coming to live with him, and that Seth and himself were trying to talk Katie into it. And so that I do remember that. And that's interesting. Too. Yeah, that's a very good point. I know, Jen. I mean, what the heck? What the heck is that all about, So Yeah, no, you're spot on, Bo. I do remember that as well. I do remember that as well. Um, so yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. I would love for them to do they do a really great job, the Lore Lodge does. They do. I really enjoy their content and the way that they do things. I wish I had more time to watch them too because they have very interesting content. That's not even true crime related, some of it, you know, but very, very good stuff. I like the lads, the Lore lads.
I was just a kid living in New York, going to high school.
Okay, so she's just a kid living in New York, going to high school, right? But she is Paris Hilton. She is Paris Hilton, you know? Yeah, yeah, Bo. And that's interesting because there's email proof of them all discussing this. And in my opinion, it seems like maybe Chris was the one that really wanted Sebastian not to live there. Maybe Katie did, but I'll tell you, it's hard for me to think in a positive light about Katie's actions because of what we have seen historically with Katie and what we know about the patterns in true crime. To me, I just think Katie is just as sinister as Chris. I feel like they're two peas in a pod, and I feel like they feed off of each other in a negative way. And I've had an experience with that with my ex-husband and now his ex-wife. Like, he was married to this person though for quite a while. And instead of her saying, don't do that, she would say, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? And she would facilitate and help and carry out evil acts with him, right? Instead of being like, yeah, no, that's not okay, right? Like, we shouldn't do that. It was like, ride or die, let's do it. Even though it was awful and it shouldn't have been done. Um, he did not have a moral compass in that person whatsoever, and he doesn't have one himself. So that is a toxic mixture, and that's a missing child waiting to happen, in my opinion. Thank God. That's all I can say, because I mean, mm, uh don't I know I can't, Bo. I mean, in the beginning I was trying to stay kind of like, hmm, you know I don't know, type of a thing. So you need to squirt yourself and stay awake, my PTSD. I don't know how I can get I'm gonna try to get your link. I want to play it before you fall asleep though. How long do we have on this? Okay, so this is a little bit. Okay, give me a little bit to play this here, and we'll play it coming up. I think KP didn't want him there because CP didn't want him there, and it was an either or situation. Jenny Machete, that is interesting that you bring that up, because I do think that the ultimatum is a big part of this, right? I just call it the ultimatum. It's either him or me, like you're saying. Um, and I hate to say it, but he did it with the cats. I'm not trying to compare Sebastian to a cat. It's a completely different situation, a human child and a cat, right? Arguably, I know we got pet parents out there, and I get it. Our pets are our family. But what I'm saying is that I'm not comparing him to a cat. But Chris has no regard for anybody, and he's manipulated Katie in the past to get rid of her family members, which is her cats, which is Sebastian's cats. And he gloats about the fact that Sebastian never let him live it down. And he says, even to this day, you know? So, very interesting. Aw, I'm sorry, crazy bird. Okay.
Obviously ditching a lot of class, whatever, but I feel like my parents were scared and they didn't want their reputations to be ruined.
Aw. Right? So she's like, I was sneaking on a lot. I was getting into mischief, right? But my parents, they didn't want looking bad on them. They didn't want to look bad and they didn't want to ruin their reputation. So they sent me away, and she's gone to other boarding schools, not just Provo.
Because Page Six was writing all these stories. So I felt like I was just kind of just sent away to be hidden.
Right. And I remember back then, like, even watching Paris, and she was like one of the little starlets out there, and they would love to follow her around and the paparazzi and everything and take pictures of her out and about, and then put it on the tabloids and things like that. And then her parents are reading that and being like, oh my God, all of our friends are gonna think we're trash, da da da, and took it out on Paris. And like, look at her eyes, look at the shame in her eyes. She looks like she's back in that position, reliving, being a little girl, a young girl in that position where her parents are ashamed of her, where her parents want to send her away because their reputations are on the line. Like, it's like, it's very heartbreaking.
All you ever wanted was the best for your child.
I first said,
oh, and see, this is how they get the parents too. And guys, this is how they got the parents in that Netflix special, The Program, right? Because like they had pamphlets and videos and all these things that they were giving the parents, and they were like, we're going to help you, with your child and da da da. And the parents were like wanting help with the child. And so they bought it hook, line, and sinker. But it was all based on like helping the child and making them be a good kid and all of that.
Her to an outdoor wilderness program.
It's for teenage boys and girls needing a change of attitude and direction.
All right. So her mom just said that first they tried to send her to a wilderness outdoor type of intervention facility, program. And this is where they sent her first, right? To just go out in the wilderness program.
There's all these places called emotional growth schools. The first place was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but the thing is how is she not emotionally grown when it's just that she likes to go out and party with her friends? That's normal for that age. I mean, maybe not some of the places they were hanging out, but she's freaking Paris Hilton, right? And I mean, that's the whole thing too. That's what's crazy to me is like that the parents thought this would work. And again, no shade to her parents, and I know that they have made up and everything, but it is heartbreaking.
We were building other camps, basically doing manual labor all day long. It was just constant yelling at, like, boot camp style.
Oh wow, look, and it does look like that too. And then the kids are basically building their facility for them, so they're getting free labor. Are they getting schooling though? Are they studying? Are they learning anything, besides a rough trade, which is not a bad thing to learn. I'm not saying that. They do, Holly. They do. They brainwash the parents just as bad as the kids. And they have the parents believing that, if you don't do this, your kid's going to end up ODing and dying. You know what I mean? Like, they go that far too. Some of them like will go that far as like guilt the shit out of the parents and be like, this is your last resort. If you don't do this, then the next time we talk, you're not going to have a kid. And like, they really lay it on thick. So yeah, crazy.
So I whispered to one of the girls, like, let's get out of here tonight.
She got away.
We ran through cornfields, through mountains. The guys that worked at the camp grabbed us, and then we got back and they literally just beat the hell out of us in front of.
Holy Moses, they just beat the crap out of them in front of everybody? Holy cannoli. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I know the Utah, there's so many of those schools like that. Like, it's crazy how many schools there are like that in Utah. And I'm trying to think of the reprogramming technique that the one school was using. Um I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it is absolutely a psychological mind F, you know? So, yeah, isn't this wild? I mean, um, again, I didn't realize she came out in 2019. Like, I didn't realize how long ago this was. It doesn't seem that long ago. But she finally got that place shut down, Jenny. Like, just yesterday, the news broke about it. Or, excuse me, well, yeah, now yesterday for me, because I'm Eastern time. Yeah, the news broke that they got their license pulled, and it's because Paris Hilton made that happen. And she's been working on it. Two federals and what was the other one? I think 14 different states, excuse me. So yeah, she's working it and her work's cut out for her, but she's gonna continue to keep on keeping on, right? She's trucking right along. I love it. She's doing great. She really is doing great. So well, I mean, and the thing is these kids are gonna do those things, Detroit. It's just like I just don't understand why parents are so harsh. Like, you kind of have to pick your battles, with stuff. Also though, but Detroit says my daughter was caught making out with her boyfriend in the back of a medical vehicle and got caught by the cops, and the police brought her home and asked me if she belonged to me. I said depends on what. Right? I mean these kids they're learning, you can't take everything they do like so super seriously, right? So it did. Yeah. Oh yeah, she's been working. She's been working it, Jenny, for sure. Like, very interesting that she has just finally done this.
Everyone, just let everyone know if you run away, this is what happens. And then they sent me to this other place, which was hell too, and I ran away from there.
Okay, guys, she said they sent me to this other place and it was hell, and I ran away from there too, right? Because obviously these kids run away from these horrible situations, just like we saw yesterday when we watched that there was 5 boys that ran away. Before that, there was 8 girls that ran away from that Goochland County in Virginia, and it's in the school is called Hallmark Youth, right? And that's not the first time kids have run away from there. They're constantly running away from there. There's allegations and investigations into their practices of being, horrible with safety, horrible abuse, horrible hellish situations. Just exactly like excuse me, just exactly like Paris is describing.
She jumped down an entire flight of stairs.
Holy hell. She was, dude, okay, see, this is a red flag. This is a red flag. They're saying that she leapt down an entire flight of stairs to get away. That is fleeing. That's not running away. That's fleeing the situation because you're scared to death. That's fight or flight. She chose flight.
Shut down highways, they shut down the airport.
I escaped from Ascent, Cascade, Sea-Doo, all of these emotional growth schools.
Damn, she went to multiple emotional growth schools. What the fudge? Okay, here's another one to add to our list. Emotional growth schools. I'm just going to put that in my search so we have it. but just as at a glance, emotional growth schools, including therapeutic boarding schools, focus on nurturing the emotional and psychological well-being of students, helping them develop essential life skills and resilience. Well, resilience maybe, but I mean, it took her a long time to get as healed as she is. So,
We're just spending all our time trying to figure out should we move to the moon? What do we do?
Move to the moon.
I'm like, please, can I just go home? I've already been through so much. I promise I'll never go to a club again. Please, like, I can't go back to these places. Like, you've no.
Oh, she's like, I'll never go to a club again. I mean, it's just kind of hard with like the school they're going to send her back to school and it's going to be all her old friends and everybody that usually hangs out at all those places. The Elon School is closed, but there are great documentaries about it and a whole Facebook page of survivors. Oh, I think I might have heard of that one, Holly. In Gen, I don't know if it's associated with the ARC. Yes, and I believe you had it right to begin with. I know that there has been letters and stuff that has been sent to there because another creator did that. But I don't know if they're associated. I know Bo, she was in a lot of different places. One of the girls escaped and was hitchhiking and was SA'd and killed by a truck driver. That's terrible. Oh gosh, all that money that they had to think they would have put her in the therapy every day. Yes, or something. Why this? I know. I feel like her mom is sadistic. Yeah, I don't know why they would have to put her in all of these different things when they could just get her to go to therapy and get help for that. That is interesting. Wow. I've heard that too. I've heard that too. Detroit says STFUB. Bish. Oh my goodness, right? Right? Exactly, Detroit. From what I hear, it's total deprivation. They don't allow them any autonomy, happiness, nothing. I've heard that as well. A club. I know. It's like, what the heck? You know? It's much worse than prison. It's much worse than prison, and then it's like they didn't even do anything to deserve it. Like, what the hell?
Idea. There was no convincing them, no matter what I said. So I just didn't trust them.
I mean, who would trust somebody when you don't even know that somebody's going to come and take you in the middle of the night? I mean, if you don't care where I go and that somebody's taking me and then doing these things to me, I mean, the reason why she's running away is because she's being abused. It's not because she's a bad kid. She's running away because she can't take the abuse anymore.
It made me not trust anyone, not even my own family.
I wouldn't trust them either.
The last.
All right, here's another one in Utah. Well, here's Provo, Utah, but it looked like they sent her to another one in Utah before that.
School that I went to was Provo Canyon School. And that was the worst of the worst.
I mean, look, they're actually bringing her there, and there's like all these weird little chains of things that they're making and everything. It looks like a decent place, but let's hear what happened.
There's no getting out of there. You're sitting on a chair, staring at a wall all day long.
Oh my God, you're sitting there on a chair all day long staring. She said there's no way of getting out of there. So I'm guessing that's why her parents, trumped up the security and made sure they got a facility that she could not run away from if she was continuously running away.
Getting yelled at or hit. I felt like a lot of the people who work there got off on torturing children. And
Ew, they probably do. They're freaking creeps. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. If my mom only knew that I was going to clubs at 15. I mean, like, again, I mean, that's the thing. I'm with you, Detroit. It's like, kids do things like that. Like, they do the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. And especially teenagers are hard, and it's like it's almost like they didn't want to deal with her, so they just sent her away.
seeing them naked, they would prescribe everyone all these pills. I didn't know what they were giving me.
Oh my God, that is so terrifying. That is so terrifying. You don't even know what they're giving you, and they're giving you these pills. I mean, I just can't believe that. It's, ugh.
I would just feel so tired and numb. Some people in that place were just gone. Like, the lights are on, no one's home. A lot of people were on suicide watch. And I was...
Wow. I mean, and that's the thing. They're giving them all of these pills and everything, but that's not helping anything. And it's definitely not fixing anything. And then they're suicidal. And we've heard about that too in these centers. We've heard that people in the facilities are so abusive that the children are trying to take their own life, because that's the only way to get out of there, right? That's the only way they can see to get out of that situation, is to take their own life. And it's just so sad. My goodness. Lori says, oh, hell no.
So scared that was going to happen to me. So eventually, I found out a way to not take the pills.
Smart girl. I probably would do the same damn thing. I would probably do the same damn thing.
But everyone would tell on everyone, and they found a Kleenex with all of the pills in it.
Oh, man. So they end up finding her stash of pills, right, that she decided to spit out, and she didn't want to take them. And so now she's going to be in trouble because she didn't comply.
And I got in so much trouble for that.
Oh my God. I can only imagine, even if you're not in trouble, you're in trouble. But if you actually do something that they deem, that you should be in trouble for, holy cow. Okay, guys. So right here is an accurate depiction of what we would see in the program, what we would see in other documentaries just like this that are exposing these schools or behavioral centers or health centers or emotional growth centers, what the fudge ever you want to call them, right? Residential treatment facilities. And they put them in a room like this, like a prison cell, and they make them sit there. So let's listen to what Paris had to endure.
Solitary confinement. Like something out of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Like padded room, like brick walls, cold, clinical, barren, lonely, and it does sound worse than jail. It does, and how horrible. And, other kids telling on other kids, the kids are being mean to each other. They're stressed the hell out.
They'd make people take their clothes off and go in there like for 20 hours.
Oh my gosh, they'd make them take their clothes off. Does that seem at all like they are sparing the dignity of these children? Because it doesn't sound like that to me. How would they like to become naked and go in and have to be sitting in a room like this? I guarantee you they wouldn't like it, but yet they're doing it to these children, you know? So it's just amazing.
Felt like I was going crazy. Someone was in the other room that was like in a straitjacket, screaming.
Oh my God. Somebody's in the next room with a straitjacket screaming.
I was just freezing. I was starving. I was alone. I was scared.
Wow. And they don't even feed them while they're in there, apparently. She's hungry, cold, scared. It's like torture, Lori. Oh my gosh. Crazy Bird said, if I felt the need to send my child to a school like this, I would have made a surprise visit to check on my child. I don't care if it's a school or a hospital. I will see my child. Well, and that's what's weird, Crazy Bird, is I don't understand why other parents don't think of it that way. Because I was thinking something similar also, that, I'm surprised that the parents never like stop by or whatever, or check or any of that. And I do think that's odd, but I do also think that those places could have these parents signing stuff that prohibits that, because like that's a common theme in these schools, is that they get these parents to sign on to letting them do whatever they want to their child, you know, forfeiting rights and things like that. And especially when they're in some of these residential facilities, they're doing that, almost a ward of the state, because the state is, paying for it, especially when it's a CPS referral or DCS referral, so it's just like, yeah.
My parents were in New York. They didn't know. But I was
So her parents were still in New York, and she's in Provo Canyon, Utah, or she's in Provo, Utah.
so angry and so upset. I hated them.
Well, I mean, this is what all it's going to do, is cause a divide with the child and the family, especially if you're cut off completely from your kid and the kid's sitting there thinking that you don't care about them. Detroit says, my friend who was a few years older let us in and we would dance the night away. We helped him get the bar ready for Aretha Franklin to film her video riding on the freeway. It was called Confettis. Oh my gosh, that would be so fun. Wow, Detroit, that is so cool. Oh my goodness, I would love that. Um, we need Aretha Franklin right now. We need some respect for these kids. Let me tell you what. Wow, that is so amazing.
I was at Provo for 11 months. And the only thing that saved my sanity was thinking about what I wanted to do and who I wanted to become when I got out of there.
Aw, and she's just dreaming away. You can't take a human and completely break their spirits down. Many people will fight back tooth and nail to get back the person that they know they can be and the person that they were before they were so heavily traumatized. That's where these perpetrators underestimate a victim, because it's very difficult to break somebody down. And I'm glad she didn't succumb to that. Um, 11 months she spent at Provo Canyon School. So, Hallie says, exactly, Crazy Bird. I can't help but think these parents have an abuse streak. I mean, like, there's got to be something about you not listening to your kids when they're telling you they were abused. Like, even if it was manipulation, I would believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it was, I'm not saying it would be, because of course, people don't tend to make these things up unless they're severely mentally ill. But Crazy Bird says, I'm sure they say no visits, but I don't listen to anyone that has my child. Exactly. I will check their safety. Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to me that this would be an option, but then in some cases you do see the parents that are in a loving light doing it, trying to help the situation. and they do have good intentions behind it. So Holly says if some of them are on drugs and the detox in those places would be hell and dangerous. I agree. Exactly. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. You know, how horrible. How horrible.
I was going to do everything in my power to be so successful that my parents could never control me again.
Well, and I think that it also came down to she never wanted to, you know, put herself in a position where she had to feel like she was disappointing her parents, as odd as that seems. If I'm analyzing the situation, that's where my brain goes, right? Because I just saw the pain in her eyes and everything when she was talking about her parents' reputation, and that was the reason why they were sending her away. And I think she wanted to prove them wrong, and she wanted to be like, you don't think I'm anything, I'm going to show you who I am. And I really admire and respect that fully, you know. um Oh, you do, Jen Jen? Jen Jen says that is Utah for you, the state of brotherly love. I know, I live in Salt Lake. Yeah, well then maybe you can tell us more about it, because I've seen a lot of these schools pop up there. A lot of them. I mean, more than maybe most places, but then again, there's a lot everywhere. You know, once you start getting into it, they're all over, you know. Aw, thank you, my PTSD. The Ritz was a split in half and they redid the bar just for her. It was really cool, but she was a diva, if you know what I'm saying. But that's how I got into the bar. That's so cool, Detroit. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they best fix that bar up for her the way she likes it. I love it. That is so great. They're ruthless. Oh my goodness. Oh my. That is very cool, right? That's very cool. I don't care who, if it's, I heard someone put a hand on my child, they better run and keep running because I'm coming with a gun. Crazy bird, I don't blame you. Hey, it's very primal for us to stick up for our kids, right? I mean, and I think that's why she's so hurt too, you know? Holly says it's so weird because there are so many regulations in a nail salon, for example, but these places operate freely. Boom, Holly. You know, I mean, I agree. I agree. And that goes even for food prep, but food prep, I guess, can make somebody sick. But I mean, I think of that too. Um, I wish I knew that back then, and I thought so differently back in the day. Yeah, I mean, nobody knew about this until I guess, you know, I was guessing a little bit later um, than was true. I mean, 2019, she was coming out with this, so.
I don't know if my nightmares will ever go away, but I do know that there's probably hundreds of thousands of kids who are going through the same thing right now.
Right. Well, and that's the thing that is going to fuel and motivate somebody to keep going, right? And to continue on fighting, because you know that there are all these children out there that are still going through this, and they're now in that dark room and they're wishing and hoping and praying, or they're deciding whether they're going to continue on or when they're going to try to take their own life. It is absolutely gut wrenching to think about that and to have lived that experience and know that those children are still out there. I mean, it would be like you have to, you know, you have to go fight for them. You know, it's not even a question. So good to have you back, Kylie.
And maybe if I can help stop their nightmares, it will help me stop mine.
I don't see them.
I think that's a very profound statement as well. You know, if I can help them stop their nightmares, maybe I can help stop mine. You know, and again, just showing that it's cathartic and everything. So, um, I mean, yeah, I mean that's the thing. They put these kids in brutal situations. You know, Jen. I know they're so cute. She always has a cute little dogs around. She's a perfect person to put a spotlight on these places. She is bigger, better than her parents. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, she's making a great big difference in my opinion. I think, you know. Um
Oh, they're coming.
Okay, now I forget who this is because I know I've seen this before, but I think she's meeting with family.
So yeah, we are doing this. This is crazy.
So bizarre. I spent decades trying to find you, and she found
Oh no, there's some of the people from the school. I'm sorry.
you in 10 minutes.
Yeah, we actually
like the two of them. Like,
so why the heck?
What?
It's only been 20 years. Why in the world would anybody want to reach me?
Aw, and then, you know, this is another thing that happened that made it possible for um the the documentary on Netflix, the program to happen is that everybody got together and they all helped research and put everything together for it. I mean, there were files and files and CDs with, you know, camera footage and all kinds of write-ups and, you know, you name it, and it was all documented. And it was just amazing what they found.
Hi, girls.
Hey.
Come in. Oh my God, it's been so long. Look the same.
You too.
Hi, sweetheart.
Aw.
how are you?
It's so nice for them to all get together. And I think this is a big part of healing too, is connecting with other people and sharing experiences and talking it out. I think it's a great form of therapy, support groups, that is.
Yeah.
Hey, kitty.
How's everyone else been?
I'm a little shy.
So am I. I think that place made me shy.
My mind has literally blocked out a huge portion of this.
One of the
Okay, so this is another trauma response, right? Where, you know, some people remember everything, every detail, every scent, everything, right? And my trauma has caused, you know, I just have a really good memory, I guess. It's not even my trauma that caused it. It's that I have a very good memory. And so it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because I don't want to remember some things. Some things I wish I could forget. But then it would be also, I'm assuming, equally frustrating for somebody to be trying so hard to recall, but they've, you know, they've suppressed the memory. They've hid it down deep, right? And it's a coping mechanism that allows us to do that. However, I'm sure it's frustrating because you want to be able to recall these things sometimes, right? And then the ones like that remember every detail also struggle. You know, that's why I never like to compare trauma, because it affects us so much differently, and it's just so unique to each person, even if it's the same lived experience, you know. Because we all are different people, you know, we process things differently and everything. And yes, I see you guys in the chat, Kylie and Crazy Bird, very strong women. No one will hurt them again. And you become keen to these things, right? You learn to look for the red flags, and you're stronger for it, for sure.
things I remember most, us talking about like our dreams of like what we were gonna do when we were out of there.
It's like an escape.
So thank you for that.
Of course.
You were always so cool.
So Paris is saying, you know, and this is another thing that, you know, the bonds, the trauma bonds, but not a negative one that you would create with somebody, right? Just going through this situation would create a bond. Um, and this reminds me also of the Cleveland Three, how the girls bonded with each other because they were all each other had, and again, everything gets processed differently. Everything, time changes things, and wounds heal differently, but it's interesting, how that other person could be your light, at the end of the tunnel, and they don't know it, because you're living that shared experience, but you're also grateful to have them when they're there.
You too, Rumi.
When I saw The Simple Life, I cracked up. I'm like, that's not real.
Look at Paris. She's so pretty. Like, she's so funny too. Cause like that show was so funny. I used to crack up. Like, oh my gosh. And Olivia was like a baby when I was watching that show. And I was like, this is so funny. And I was like, cause they would just act so silly. And what did Paris ask on that show the one time? And it was like, it was viral before things were going viral, but it was like almost, she was saying something like, "What's Walmart?" or something, or something. Everybody's like, "How the fuck that you know what a Walmart is?" It was great. Yeah, she is. I love this. I love where we stopped this still right here, because like she's like, "Wait a minute." There's no way this is not the Paris I know. Could you imagine like having such a horrible experience and being sent to one of these schools, and then you meet a girl, at the school, and next thing you know, she's on this thing, and you're like, wait a minute, this is the heir to the Hiltons? Like, wait, what? Are you serious right now? Like, that had to have been crazy in and of itself. Too. Crazy Bird says Paris is beautiful, smart, and very loving, brave, and a hero. Yeah, she is really, really doing great too. I don't know, just make a big difference. I love it. I love seeing her this way and not in The Simple Life.
That was some straight up bullshit, especially like when she was like, I don't know how to use a mop.
I've never cleaned in my life. That's the thing too.
That's so funny. Oh my God. So the whole thing was an act, right? The whole thing. Because I always knew the dumb blonde stuff was an act, I really did. Because I was like, she's got to be like way smarter, right? She probably has like private tutors and, but come to find out, she also had this experience too. And yeah, that's another thing too, because she was playing dumb, about knowing, how to clean and stuff.
Like after all we went through, like how we were like forced to clean, like you know how to use a sponge.
They were like, they're like, this bitch, we've had to, get on our hands and knees and, clean the old fashioned way, right? And yeah, that's funny. Walmart is hot. That's yes. I just remember that being her catchphrase. Kylie, I said, "Oh, Walmart is hot." Yeah, she is adorable when she smiles, Holly. I agree. Didn't Dr. Phil support one of these camps that was really abusive? Yes. Yes. It was the Turnabout Ranch. Dr. Phil would be like, we got to send him to the Turnabout Ranch. And then, like, and Robin's in the front row clapping. And I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, because they sent that little baddie girl, the cash me outside, cash me outside chick, right? And then they sent her there. And not funny. The cash me outside thing is funny. But what's not funny is what she endured at the Turnabout Ranch. And they like kept her there longer, and her mother was all in on it. And then Dr. Phil ended up like going, after them, and it was a whole deal. But yeah, yes. Yeah, her mom is I think she does do like a little interview with her mom on this one. So
You know how to wash a dish.
But also, I don't think you had like a high-pitched voice that I remember either. Like
Back then, did I or no?
No.
I remember you in class.
I don't remember.
So
I
in
remember
Beth's
Miss
class,
Beth.
we were doing economics. I remember, like, it was the day that you blew my mind because, like, you were quiet a lot. And then there was, like, this bit where you were just, like, actually, and you, like, explained this economic theory. And it was super clear and super smart. And
Yeah, I always knew she was smart. Detroit says she had everyone believing she was dumb blonde, but she used her craft to create an image that made people laugh. So she's smart and fooled everyone. I agree. And what was that? What was that brand that she was wearing back then? I can't remember. I could see it on her hat. Yeah, people were going crazy. She was doing the Von Dutch, and that was like huge back then. Like everybody was sporting stuff like Von Dutch, and she did fool everyone, And she's a damn good actress because I mean, it made a lot of people be like, "What the heck,"
I was just like, holy crap, this chick's a genius.
So this is like an example of like some other girls that have done this breaking code silence campaign. Like, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. And this is, I was a survivor of Provo Canyon School. While I was there, I was deprived of my rights.
Wow.
Okay, so this is part of her big campaign that she rallied for too. Or jumped on the bandwagon because obviously it already existed, but they were starting this end code silence. And so very interesting because that's the only way for these things to continue to perpetuate is when people are silent. That's what, hinders exposure and people understanding what's really going on. The worst thing you can do is be silent. The worst thing you can do is sweep it under the rug. But even if you are silent and even if you do sweep it under the rug, it's always going to come out. It will always come out. The truth always does. So, no, she's not, right, Jenny? Yeah, she's a little sneak. Jenny, that's funny. That's hot. That was her thing. Oh, that's hot. Oh, man. But, you would sit there and watch. Well, I remember sitting there watching the show and just, saying that and giggling and stuff like that. And then Nicole Richie was really funny, too. I remember her being super silly, and then they would get into mischief and stuff. Oh my gosh, it was cute. That was a cute show for real. I did like it. Oh, see, and this is them, break code silence and, red tape.
Provo Canyon School. What are we writing next?
Then you can put underneath the
rough dates.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember this. So they're gonna take and they're going to write their dates that they were in Provo Canyon School, and then they're going to take some selfies or pics of them holding them, So, okay, Lori, get that little puppy. What's Daco and Dr. Hill the other day, and it said that he let his medical license expire so he could talk about content on his show. Oh, okay. Oh, well, I know he did a great analysis of Dylan Redwine's case. Well, I mean, he analyzed his interview with the dad. Detroit is not having it. She says F her mom. She was on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and tried to fit in with all of the other younger women. Oh, she's related to Kyle and his sister. It was disgusting. Oh. So her reputation precedes herself and being like very much about herself. Oh my gosh. That's heartbreaking, Detroit. Well, I have to second that then. I have to second that motion. The farm was hilarious. Yes. Oh my God, they were so funny, those two.
Years, and then gave me
Trust issues.
Fear of being controlled.
With PTSD. There's so many that it will not fit on the card. If you were to look at me,
Aw, there's so many things that they dealt with, and so many negatives that cause them to have hurt and pain and fear and doubt and trauma, and there's so many of them and they can't even fit them on the page, you know.
like, whoa, Paris has a lot of issues.
Don't worry, I've got a
But
lot.
the thing is that like,
well, if you live long enough,
these issues aren't issues that you like decided to create one day and have and walk around in the world with. You know what I mean?
oh, I know exactly what you mean, and I think that's really well said. And this is the power of all of these girls getting together, you know, and voicing what they went through, because that this is a true friend and true support system where she will say, you know, to her, this is not something you caused, though. This was bestowed upon you. This was something that you had to endure. And the fact that you're rising above it is what we should focus on rather than, you know, having so many issues. And yes, it does cause issues, but you're not the cause. It's not your fault. And I used to hate when people would tell me that it wasn't my fault with DV, but I also understood where they were coming from. As well, you know, because it's something that, you know, you didn't cause on yourself.
This isn't your shame. It's not her shame or hers or mine. It's their f***ing shame.
Yeah.
We've just been.
Yeah, they should be shameful. Those bastards should be shamed, you know, they should carry the shame. And the thing is they don't, you know? So the cow and the screaming, yes, Jenny. You know, Cinderella says, boy, same here, lady. I mean, you know, I hate that for people. And, you know, but it's like, you just, I think too, a lot of times you just want to make sure that you're never going to let that happen to yourself again, right? So you're like, you know, I don't want to give myself too easy of a pass because I need to remember what I was, you know, what I put up with, right? Or what I allowed. And I do think some of it is allowing for it, right? But it's not even that it's not your fault either that you're allowing for it. It's the fact that you got to get out of it, right? And sometimes you will put up with more crap than you should. You know, I mean, I used to put up with a lot more crap. Now I'm like, oh, hell no. I will burn a bridge.
And carrying it.
Amen. My name is Catherine McNamara, and I'm a survivor of Provo Canyon School.
I was force fed. I was cut off from friends, family.
And you know, some of these we cannot see as close up as the other one, but give me a second. And oh, here we go. I can see it. So wow, look at all of this. Hashtag break code silence. Provo Canyon School, Casa by the Sea. I've heard of Casa by the Sea. Have you guys ever heard of Casa by the Sea? Okay, so these are multiple. Like, look, some of these kids have gone through multiple facilities. Keep that in mind too. I think this is so powerful. So on and off between 1996 to 2000. Wow. So these experiences from these places, these schools gave me was trust issues, abandonment issues, insomnia, nightmares, fear of therapy. I could imagine a fear of therapy because obviously these people are saying they're therapeutic and they're trying, oh, I'm here to help. Oh, bullshit. Are you kidding me? Oh, yes. 100,000,000%. Right? Poor self-perception and esteem. Anxiety, shame, worries about people believing me, right? Well, and that is so common in trauma and abuse, is that you do run the risk of people not believing you, or, you know, especially in that place where every time you try to tell somebody that you're going through something, they tell you, no, you're not. I mean, it's the worst form of gaslighting, crazy making behavior, um, inability to be vulnerable with others, inability to really really connect with others, hypervigilance. And I will say that hypervigilance is not a great feeling because it does cause great anxiety. However, I almost would rather be hypervigilant than not. And that's because I think it helps to navigate situations what a little bit better because you're always looking over your shoulder, but that way you know that you're aware of your surroundings. And um but I actually was so hyper vigilant that I would do behaviors like I would barricade the door shut and stuff like that. Those are not healthy, right? But I had to work on those, and sleeping with weapons and things like that, which some of that is still true. Okay.
I was force fed. I was cut off from friends.
Okay, so force fed, cut off from friends. Now, when she says cut off from friends, we know that that was in the report that we were just reading about the residential therapy facilities, therapeutic facilities, right? We went over that, and that was one of the big ones that they were talking about. So this lovely person here is saying Provo Canyon School from 97 to 99, right? What that gave me was trust issues, CPTSD, which is complex PTSD, abandonment issues, fear of therapy, shame, hashtag break code silence. Now we have two of these that say trust issues and another, abandonment issues. Those are two common ones that we saw in the first girl and the second girl, right? Or ladies, excuse me. Fear of therapy, fear of therapy. Wow. Very interesting that we see those three similar, or excuse me, responses that are the same.
Friends, family.
I witnessed girls be physically and emotionally and sexually abused. I was
Oh my gosh, you had to witness all of that abuse. She says Provo Canyon School 1999 gave me CPTSD, as we saw in the other. Trauma, trust issues. Oh, that's three for three. Abandonment issues, that's four. Shame, and those two are the same as the second victim.
emotionally abused by staff, by other peers.
So this is, again, guys, it is across the board where these children are having to endure all of this abuse from the caregivers and from their peers. All of this is the same. It is textbook. Is there some sort of a strange training for this that I don't know about yet? Because this is wild that we're seeing all of these, and this is government funded. This is government funded. It's absolutely bonkers. Holly says you can tell she really wants to help because it would be easier on her if she didn't talk about it. So she actually is doing something that makes her uncomfortable to help others. Holly, that's exactly it. I mean, I agree with that 100%. I think she's definitely hesitant, but I think like in this environment, it's just like they're just all rocking it out. And I love that, right? Because they're feeding off of each other's energy, and they're definitely working through all of this the big bunch of trauma that they've all endured, but yeah, you could tell that it's very genuine, and she's coming from a place of really wanting to help and kind of white knuckling through it, like, okay, I need to help, so I have to do this even though it's hard. And that's very common in survivors. I mean, it's so vulnerable to tell somebody, look, I was abused in any of these ways, but sometimes it's harder to hold on to that forever. Um, and especially if you know that you're helping others, it can just be so rewarding, and also breaking the silence is going to break all of the chains and the walls down, right? Because there's nowhere to hide then.
What's up?
There's no pressure.
Okay. I understand.
I witnessed and endured physical abuse, restraints, emotional, mental abuse.
Oh my gosh. That is so horrible. So horrible.
I was forced onto medications. I was taught that everything that happened to me was all my fault.
Okay, and she's obviously reading off of her card here. This is her card.
I'm speaking out because no child deserves to be punished for expressing their feelings.
And guys, these are the scars that are left. I mean, years ago, she was a kid, right? She's grown now, but she's still going back to and reliving this trauma as if it just happened to her yesterday. She's going back to her, you know, smaller self, right? In her mind's eye. It takes a so much courage to do this.
Especially when that punishment just equals more torture and more trauma.
Right. Because it's never ending until you get out of that situation. And sometimes there's nothing that you can do in that situation. It's so sad. Um Add one of the documentaries I watched, they encourage the students to belittle and basically abuse each other, tell the teacher they're worthless, etc. Well, see, Holly, and that's another issue that Gallatin, or excuse me, Bledsoe Youth Academy in Gallatin had, was that they were enduring that same type of abuse, right? And they were doing that to the New Hampshire boys that were sent from New Hampshire to come to that facility. I mean, it's like I said, it's like they go off of some playbook, It's so crazy. It is so crazy. And I need to look at the Eland School. I need to write that down.
I've got to be done.
She did awesome. She did such a great job.
Awesome.
It's just a lot. I love that closet, by the way.
I just came up here because there was just so much to take in. I was like, oh my God, like, I'm not alone. It's not me, and it's not my fault.
Well, and I could see that Paris is the type of person that's going to make sure that she takes care of everybody else before she takes care of herself. And a lot of us know how that is, or we have that same sort of personality type or traits. And a lot of us, especially moms, have that, right? Because we're so used to giving everything of ourselves, making sure everybody else is okay, and then we take care of ourselves so that way we can get up again and take care of everybody else, right? I do see that mothering, quality in Paris.
Sometimes I feel like so many things, but sometimes like this robot and this character that I did, and talking with them, like I started remembering who I was before.
And the thing is too, is when you start remembering who you were before, and it's still in my channel description. I talk about this in my channel description. When you start recognizing who you were before and realizing that you're not that same person because the abuse has taken that from you. Thank you, Holly. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. Hey, Gigi. You just desperately want to get it back, but it is an emotional journey and it's very difficult. Um, it just takes a lot of work and healing, and it takes to look at the situation, and it takes to meet the situation head on. And it's not easy at all. It's not easy to meet that situation head on, because that means that you have to look at it and sit with it, right? And that's where we have a lot of issues with, like, maybe even drinking or dependency, because you're masking your feelings, you're numbing your feelings, you are self-medicating, and it's because you don't want to actually feel what you're feeling, right? And if you could just feel better for a little while and not have to feel the way you're feeling all the time, it's a bit of a release, but it's not healthy, and it doesn't make things any better. What makes things better is to go through the fire, because that's the only way out of it, is to go through it. And so you have to go through it, you know? So
Just, I don't know. It makes me sad they took that away.
but even when somebody takes something away from you, you can always rebuild it, in my opinion. Um and I'm talking about when they take, like, who you are as a person.
But I don't know, I'm just so confused.
I will say that PTSD, CPTSD, it definitely creeps up on you. And there's times where you do not even see it coming, and it just slams you. And I think that's what Paris is going through right now.
But, like, it's refreshing and new. I don't really know anyone besides my family members and a very small amount of people that knew me before all of this happened and before I became this, this thing. I don't know.
You are not a thing. And that's the thing I think that a lot of people feel, is that guilt, and they feel like dirty. They feel like they're horrible, and it's that's what causes, like, that low self-esteem, and maybe some self-loathing and things like that. It's like because they got into your brain and they made you think that you were nothing, because they wanted you to feel like that, right? They broke you down. And those places, these schools and things, it is so interesting how they're so good at breaking young people down. I mean, in order for them to be more pliable, in order for them to be able to abuse them.
The mask I put on and the way I am and, like, this extravagance and the photos of me, like, all this is stemmed just from this place. When I look around my life, like, it's like a cartoon. I don't know, like, I've created this fantasy world cartoon.
I don't know, but I love her shoes, and her closet is awesome. And I think that sometimes when you're in the public eye, it can be dehumanizing at times. And I think maybe that's why she's talking about the cartoon, like, because of that dehumanizing kind of factor. I'm not sure, but I can kind of see that anyway. So.
But the thing is, I don't even give a about any of these things. I've hardly worn any of these shoes.
Oh my God, I'll take the shoes.
I love just chilling in, like, my sweatsuit, my socks, being at home, and then all this other stuff is just part of the character.
OMG, I love the boots and the shoes. Hey Libra, it's sad she can never truly escape the character she was in Hollywood that everyone knows her by. I think she's escaping it. She just got taken down. She did. She just got Provo Canyon, Utah taken out. And they have she's successfully taken their license and they don't have long to cease operations. So I'm excited.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah. You look like
And then remember, this is back in 2019. So, she is just starting her journey. She is just organizing her little army of people that she's getting ready to fight this battle. And so, like, now fast forward to, you know, today, and she's getting, exactly what she's been working so hard for was to take out Provo Canyon School.
boss lady right there.
I feel like that's like the ultimate like you Provo picture.
Yeah.
You are a warrior. We all are. We're all survivors. We're all warriors.
Boom.
And I don't want anyone to ever feel the way we do.
Yeah, so I mean, understandably so. Understandably so. Um it's one of those things that it just is so hard, but it's part of the healing process. And again, I have to say that you have to go through it to get out of it. There's no easy way.
All this brought up so much. I can't even believe it.
It's so crazy. I'm like so happy that we all connected again.
Yeah, and I think that it's definitely a good thing. I think it's absolutely a good thing. Um and I wish I could remember. I'm going to have to look up and see which laws that she has passed, like federally versus which states that she made waves in. So, hey Shauna, good to see you.
Totally, me too. I think it will probably help you start to want to deal with things that you haven't been dealing with. And I hope that it does.
Me too.
You should live free. And I'm not talking about, like, free to, like, walk around without people watching you. I'm talking about free in your mind and in your heart.
Yeah, and see, that is where the true work begins, right? Like, her being Paris Hilton, that is going to be very difficult to escape that, right? Just her being Paris Hilton, people knowing who she is. But yeah, I think the fact that she needs to feel free of this trauma and abuse, I think it's huge. So
yeah.
From things that have happened in your life.
One day.
All right. So great doc, or great short doc, about the Provo stuff for Paris. And I wanted to show you guys, let me see if I could, let me wait, let's get this down. And I wanted to show you guys one more thing before I hop off. Let's see here. Where do I have? Okay, here's the Discord, and I know my PTSD sent me that. Okay. All right, hold on a second. Let me see how I can open this. Oh, hold on. All right. So this is. All right. How am I going to do this? Oh. No, which way did it go, George? Okay. So I might just have to do it like this. All right. Hold on a second. Okay. So let me see if I can do it this way because I might have to open it in a different way. I want you guys to be able to see it though. Okay, here I could do full screen, I think. And there we go. Oh, there we go.
His text, in retrospect, seemed odd as it appeared he was making light of Angela's mysterious illness.
Jim Craig texts Michelle Redfern, quote, "If it wasn't my wife, this would be kind of a fun puzzle to try to work out." Exclamation point. Who says that?
It's so simple that it's probably a very boring case if you took away all the crap. It's just a simple, we have a 15-year-old autistic child that is missing. And unfortunately, the best part about it is he has managed to do this without any evidence left behind whatsoever. That is.
Okay. That was Chris Proudfoot talking about how he managed to do it without any evidence whatsoever. And that's the best part. That's the best part. And this is from another case. Well done, PTSD. We'll play it again. Oh, is it playing? Hold on. Oh. I don't know. I don't know why this won't play for us again. Very weird. It only wants to play it once. It only wanted to play it once for me. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I could refresh it or something. Maybe that's it.
His text, in retrospect,
Oh,
seemed
here we go. Okay, I got it to go again. Hold on, let me get it full screen. All right, here we go.
His text, in retrospect, seemed odd as it appeared he was making light of Angela's mysterious illness.
Jim Craig texts Michelle Redfern, quote, "If it wasn't my wife, this would be kind of a fun puzzle to try to work out."
Okay, so that is a weird statement to say when your wife is missing, right? It's kind of a fun puzzle. Like, who says this? This is the freaking weird stuff that they say, you know? It's a weird stuff that they say. Yeah, Brittany was under conservatorship for a long time, you know? Chrissy pissy pants, you know? I mean, totally. Now I want to play this next part because again, this has been talked about a lot in this case. And Chris Proudfoot has no qualms about saying stupid ass shit just like what we just heard.
Exclamation point. Who says that?
It's so simple that it's probably a very boring case if you took away all the crap.
Okay, so he goes up on a panel and he's talking on Clue's panel, I think. And he's saying it's probably real simple. It's probably real simple. And this is the stepfoot of Sebastian Rogers, who's been missing for 2.5 years.
Just a simple, we have a 15-year-old autistic child that is missing.
It's just simple. We have a 15-year-old autistic child that is missing.
And unfortunately, the best part about it is he has managed to do this without any evidence left behind whatsoever.
And unfortunately, he's been able to do this, right, without anybody knowing where he is. You know? Yeah, fun mystery. He's bragging his ass off. He loves to gloat, Jenny. He loves to gloat about what he's done to Sebastian. You know? I mean, it's unbelievable. Unstinking believable.
That is
Okay, sorry. He's sorry, that was the end. That was great. My PTSD. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, and that's the person that we're supposed to believe his lies, and every single time he flips out and has one of his come aparts, right? His little baby bitch fests, you know? So it's just crazy. It is just really horrible and disgusting. Um, he gets up on these panels and he is so arrogant, and he's so cold about a case as if he's not smack dab in the middle of it, and in the court of public opinion, suspect to what has happened in Sebastian's quote disappearance. You know, he is an idiot, Scranton. He's always saying some stupid shit, you know? And again, thank you so much, my PTSD, for sending that over. Just, you know, a little clip of that. You know, it puts things into perspective. It puts things into perspective for us and who we're dealing with in Chris Proudfoot, you know? So just very sad. Yeah, yeah, the little baby curl. He's got the curl. He's got the curl going on, you know. So Casey Casey says, I love that you all love the stinky feet as much as I do. Said with the most sarcasm ever. That's so funny. Yeah. Oh, we love to roast the proud feet. And you know, it's because it's just he makes it so easy with some of the things that he comes up with and says. It's like it's so obvious that he has completely and utterly um, convinced himself. I'll just say that convinced himself that people believe him. But you know, a lot of that is attributed to the channels that will um, facilitate his delusions, right? So we don't care for the pissy pants. I wore out the album and bought a new one, and then bought the cassette and recorded the songs on the radio. Aw, Detroit. His mommy made that curl. Crazy bird. And then I see the look in your eyes. Oh my goodness. That's funny. Um, every time I think of the song Total Eclipse of My Heart, there was a shock jock radio guy in the morning, and he used to do a parody of that song, and it was called Total Eclipse of My Butt. So I'm sorry I'm not enjoying the song the song selection as much as the chat. Because I can't help but not think of that. And he did like the whole song in a parody. It was really funny. It was kind of like the Weird Al style. Oh my goodness. But I love that you guys are, you know, don't have your mind in the gutter like I do. And Casey says it's so easy. He doesn't need to say one word. It is still easy. Well, exactly. I mean, the look on his face, Casey, you know, even in the beginning when I was doing like memes next to his face, I would type in guilty into the search bar for gifs, and it would come out with a picture of a person that looked just as guilty as he did, you know, during the interview. I mean, it was just, and it is easy. He makes it so, I mean, you know, it's kind of like when you know that you just walked right in, you know, to a joke, or, you know, you say something and you're like, oh crap, that came out wrong, you know, but that's like Proudfoot, like all the time, you know, it's just, that's how he is all the time. So, Um, yeah, it's just crazy. All right, guys. Well, I better get off of here because I would like to do another live tomorrow. What I want to do is I want to go over some of these Facebook posts, and we're going to peruse Facebook, um, during the live about um, the updates in Javea's case, because there's a lot that's going on Facebook, and I want to show you guys some of what's been posted, and so we can discuss that, because I don't know if there's going to be any more updates for a little while because they were denied bond today. And if you missed any of that coverage, of like the breaking news updates in Javea's case, definitely go check out the live from earlier today, and we're going to kind of reconvene about that tomorrow. It's really, really sad, really, really awful that. Sorry, I'm sorry, guys. I know you guys wouldn't care if I said that, but you guys were looking like you guys were just like loving that song, and gosh. But you're welcome, Bo, and thank you guys so much, and thank you guys so much. Um, Also, just all of the information that we're retaining for these schools and everything, because it's a lot, so most definitely it is a lot of info. So I appreciate you guys all so very, very, very much. Keep praying for Sebastian. Keep praying that we get justice for him. And, we're going to keep on trucking along. I don't have to worry about justice for Javea as long as those judges and the court system, make sure that everything's rock solid on appeal, and, hopefully we can move forward again. They're doing a wonderful job, and I just wish that Sebastian would have gotten, um, some kind of the same sort of respect and care, and the investigation would have been more like what we're seeing. I think we would have had a faster outcome, obviously. I don't think we would be here talking about Sebastian. I think it would have been a success story. So, oh, the singer passed away. Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you for a fantastic live. Aw, thank you so much, Witchy, and thank you very much. That's so sweet. And thank you, Holly. Casey, welcome to the Dragon Tribe again, and thank you so much for being here. And Bo, thank you for the green hearts. Yeah, guys, and child abuse. And child abuse. This is a major part of what we've been talking about today, and it's all about ending child abuse, whether it's in these facilities or whether it's in homes, whether, wherever it exists, it needs to stop. These little kids do not deserve to be hurt ever. So, all right, guys, I love you all so very, very much, and I will